Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live and in living color here with you tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard, where we'll be discussing box office bombs. Yes, this is a show that I've been wanting to do for literal years, just never pulled the trigger. And I decided, you know what? It's cold outside. It's January. It's a new year. It is 2026. And I sat down and I put 50 films in the randomizer. And the randomizer decided our fate alongside the legendary, the much anticipated and long awaited Wheel of Torture. Yes, the Wheel of Torture will decide our fate tonight only on Grande's Graveyard, your favorite show because you're live and in living color and here at 8:05. And yes, on this wheel, we have 11 films. I made a little bit of a mistake when I pulled out. I thought I pulled out 10 and I counted 10, but I actually pulled out 11. So I ended up saying, hey, you know what? Instead of cheating you guys, I'm going to put 11 movies on the wheel. Unfortunately, we're not even by any means of the imagination, but this is going to be a lot of fun because this is a show long time coming. We've got some good movies on this list. We've got some bad movies on this list, and we've got some of the all-time worst movies on this list, and all of them share one single solitary thing in common. They were all bombs. Yes, all of these movies we'll be discussed tonight were box office failures. Now, that does not necessarily mean that the movies are poor in quality. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. Some of these movies, there are sometimes examples of flops that end up being great all-time movies, and we will discuss some of those here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. However, there are ones that flop that, unfortunately, over time deserve to do so. And we're going to talk about the age-old question, the three-letter question. One word, why? Why did these movies flop? Why did these movies not become or achieve the modicum of success that they set out to achieve? And that to me is one of the most fascinating things when we're talking about film, when we're talking about movies. I always like to know why certain movies fail, why certain movies succeed. And listen, there's always the other side of the coin of this, right? There are movies that are terrible, in my opinion. They gross all the money in the world and they laugh all their way to the box office while I'm there shaking my fist behind them saying, oh, you're not worthy, you're not worthy, you're not worthy. But they're the ones that made the money in a business. That's all that really truly matters. But tonight we will be discussing the movies with the egg on their face. Tonight we will be discussing box office bombs. But first, I want to see what y'all have to say in the chat. Always good to see you guys here. And Miss C is here. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardian friends. Miss C, welcome to the show, my friend. Hope all is well with you. We got John Haddonfield mascot. What's up, Grande and chat? Excited about some losses. Yeah, there's definitely some losses here tonight on Grande's Graveyard for sure. A lot of money was lost in these particular 11 movies, especially when you add them all up. It's quite literally over $1 billion that you're discussing here. So quite crazy that it kind of comes out to that, but this is going to be a lot of fun. So John, always happy to have you in the house, man. Thank you for stopping by. What? No Raven jersey? Talk about the team that bombed. Well, I did get this brand new Tetero and McMillan jersey in the mail, and I'm a big fan of Tet McMillan. He's one of my favorite fantasy players on my team this past year, and he was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So I picked a good one. I wish the Steelers had picked him in the draft, but he went so high that, you know, Steelers can't get players like that. But my Steelers also won, and we'll be in the playoffs on Monday Night Football, so I'm very excited about that. Don't you get me wrong. Was very excited with that Steelers game. Steelers Ravens, always great football stuff. So Pat, how Paul as well with you, buddy? Go Steelers. Slasher Fred, it looks like you only 11 instead of 10 little Indians. Oh, yeah, I guess so. We're 11 little Indians tonight. Welcome, Slasher Fred. Hope all is well with you. What a great way to start my birthday weekend, hanging out live with friends on the graveyard. Well, happy early birthday, my friend, to Miss C, arguably, if not the biggest Grande's Graveyard fan in the land. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend, my friend. We have Matteo Appendino in the house. Ciao, Grande smells like burning garbage. Hi to the whole graveyard. Yeah, there's some burning garbage for sure. However, there's a lot more burning money. Burning money is more so the theme here, but yes, there's a lot of burning garbage, my friend, and we're going to be discussing it tonight only on the graveyard. What up, Papa Grande and all you graveyard dwellers? Love my team. Mark is in the house. Mark, I know last week was going to go to bat and defend, or actually bash, a little movie called Infinity Pool that we smashed over here on Grande's Graveyard. But Mark is here tonight, and Mark is going to be discussing some box office bombs with us. So, Mark, always happy to have you in the house. Anthony Chabot, I ate W, how are you doing, buddy? By the way, still up to 2018 in the memoirs and saw Anaconda. It was awesome. Next up is Wuthering Heights and Scream. Well, awesome, man. I hope you enjoy those movies as well. Happy to have you in the house. Happy early birthday to Miss C. Absolutely. People saying hi. How you doing, Patty? Let's see. The Thing is the best example of how your movie being a bomb says absolutely nothing about how good or exactly. And there are examples. It's funny. As random as the randomizers made this, there are a few movies on here that I think are great that just didn't gross a lot of money, didn't draw for whatever reason. So there are examples of that on this list. Don't think this is just 11 rants in a row because it's not. However, there are some really, really fucking bad movies on here. And we're going to discuss them tonight. And we're 5 minutes in. So I say cheers to the best YouTube fans in the whole wide world. Cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for the Grande's Graveyard support and love. It's never lost on me. People saying hi and happy birthday to Miss C. So cheers, everybody. The greatest beverage of all time. Little Mountain Dew. Only the best. All right. So we're going to get underway with this. We're going to spin the wheel of torture, my friends. And I just hope you're ready because I'm not. I'm truly not. We have 11 titles on this list. We will discuss all of them tonight. And it is time, my friends. Let's going to spin it up. The wheel of torture. Here we go. The first movie on the chopping block. Oh, boy. All right. We're going to start this show off hot. Grindhouse double feature, which I actually, coincidentally enough, used it on the thumbnail for this Grindhouse double feature of course, Planet Terror, the fake trailers, and Death Proof. And I actually have the separate releases of when these came out. I actually sold the Death Proof one to a dear friend, but this was Planet Terror. And probably people wonder, well, hey, why did they release them separately? They were released in theaters as the Grindhouse experience, the Grindhouse double feature. And to me, that was a great idea on paper. And of course, it came from two guys that I had nothing but respect for and nothing but admiration for when it comes to their films, right? Of course, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, very good friends over the years. Of course, they had worked together a few times, most infamously, in my opinion, from Dusk Till Dawn, where, of course, Quentin plays one of the lead heels and Robert Rodriguez directs. And I think that's a tremendous movie. One of their best, probably their best collaboration together as workers, but about a decade goes by and they sat down together and said, hey, you know what we miss? We miss the old school exploitation grindhouse days, brother. The exploitation days, blaxploitation, spaghetti westerns, and all of these really fun movies that were crazy and made for little to no money, but all had all these creativity and creations and entertainment value. And some of these weren't the best movies in the world, but they were a good night out at the movies. It was a good night to take your date to. And that's the thing that they wanted to sort of recapture. To me, what Grindhouse was in a nutshell was Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez coming together and writing a letter to a bygone era of movies that people like me never got to experience in the theater. And so being a younger film fan that was not around in the 70s and the 80s when they had these Grindhouse double features and drive-in movies and things like that. I mean, it was a dream come true for somebody like me. Oh, you're bringing the past into the present, and we get to come as viewers and enjoy this movie on the big screen. And it's a double feature. And they, of course, had Planet Terror play first, which was Robert Rodriguez's movie. Then they had all the fake trailers, right? You had Don't from Edgar Wright, which was my favorite of the bunch. You had Thanksgiving from Eli Roth, the Rob Zombie SS She-Wolf one, A Hobo with a Shotgun, Machete, all these great fake trailers for movies that weren't going to be made. Hell, over half of them now have been, right? Thanksgiving's been made. Machete was made with a sequel, and even Hobo with a Shotgun got made just a few years later. So it's kind of crazy. These were trailers made just for fake, just to kind of fill a little bit of a gap, if you will, and instead ended up becoming movies in their own right. And then, of course, you end the night with a little bit of Death Proof, a little bit of Quentin Tarantino film, as you leave the screen. It was supposed to be this fun 3-hour experience at the movies, 1 ticket to ride, 2 movies, no regrets, and all of these great gimmicks. And I love both movies, for the record. I think Planet Terror, I think this is a really fun I say it's a parody of a Grindhouse movie. It's very slapstick, very goofy, very tongue-in-cheek with its humor, and it really is self-aware in the humor that it's providing. And I don't know, I love the cast. I love, of course, Rose McGowan as Cherry Darling, the one-legged stripper with a gun for a leg, and of course Marley Shelton and Josh Brolin, and Bruce Willis makes an appearance. Quentin Tarantino is in this as an actor. I mean, really, really good little movie. I always really liked Planet Terror. I just thought the entire thing was just a fun little parody of a Grindhouse movie, right? More poking fun at it as opposed to being it. Whereas Death Proof, I always felt was the opposite. This is a Grindhouse movie. It really, really feels that way. The way that there's missing reels, the way that it's all scratched up and spotty and dirty, right? It almost looks yellow in points. And Quentin actually took some of the film print and would physically scratch it at times to try to give it the 70s aesthetic and feel, right? These were two guys that loved it. And I have nothing, like I said, but respect for both of them. And I think both of them had great, great, tremendous careers. And you know, it makes me sad to know that this was a bomb, right? And we'll have the numbers for all these movies here, but of course, on a budget of anywhere between 53 to 67 million. It's been debated. I mean, if you want to find a happy medium in there, right? Let's say like about 60 million, right? Let's give and take 7 each way. $60 million. This grossed a total of 25.4 million worldwide. This had a disastrous opening weekend. They thought they were going to make $30 million their opening weekend. They didn't end up making $30 million worldwide in their entire fucking run. So this was a bomb. And again, the age-old question of why. Why did this bomb? Why didn't people go to see this? It seemed like everyone enjoyed one movie or the other. There's always the debate of, oh, what do you like better, Planet Terror or Death Proof? Which one did you like better of the two? And there's always people that come in and say, oh, I like this one over that one because of this. It was a kind of a fun debate because both movies were rather good in quality, and there was always the debate of, okay, which one's better, which one's actually the superior picture of the two. And it was fun to debate, but there's no denying that this didn't draw. People didn't go to see this. And why is that? I truly think that people didn't understand the gimmick. Now, I've heard stories of this. I was around. I was about 10 years old when this came out. Didn't get the chance to go and see it, unfortunately. However, I've heard stories of people that did go to the theater and did go to support this, that after Planet Terror ended, they left. They left the movie theater. They didn't stay around for theatrical trailers of movies that weren't supposed to be. They didn't stay around for Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. They didn't stay around for any of the fun and activities that the Grindhouse double feature experience had to offer. And that's what it was. It was an experience and almost a DeLorean to a bygone era in the present modern day. And I think that was such a beautiful thing for those two to do, but I don't know if everybody entirely got it. Now, us, the film marks, the people that love this stuff, we knew, we us in the know knew to stay and knew to enjoy and knew to have a good time. But it's just an unfortunate situation where this thing did not make any money, really. I mean, it lost quite a chunk of change. And despite all the good acting talent, right? I mean, Death Proof is another movie I love. Kurt Russell's Stuntman Mike and Fair Lady, Your Chariot Awaits. I'm a big Death Proof fan. One of my favorite QT movies. I adore it. It's just a shame to me that this was something that was so high quality and had such good filmmaking talent around it that ultimately failed. And to me, the biggest thing we were robbed of, right? Minus away if you like one movie, if you like the other movie, if you like both of them, if you like the trailers, if you like the whole experience, right? No matter what, we can still enjoy the movies now, right? We can enjoy Planet Terror if you want to watch it individually. Death Proof, they have separate releases. And they also finally came out with a Blu-ray up. You could watch the whole thing as it was in the theater, right? The Grindhouse double feature experience. You can watch those. That's available to you now. What we were robbed of, in my opinion, is they may have done these every single fucking year. Let's say this does well. Let's say this grosses all the money in the world. Let's say this is a $300 million profitable movie and people are running to the movie theaters to see it. I guarantee you the following year, we would have had another Grindhouse double feature with two different directors doing two different styles of genre films, right? Whether it didn't have to necessarily be horror or sci-fi. It could have been any other type of exploitation movie. Bring back blaxploitation, do more spaghetti westerns, do, revenge pictures, road pictures, buddy pictures, whatever you wanted to do. And the palette would have been yours. And we could have gotten these up and coming filmmakers to say, hey, this is what I want to do with the Grindhouse double feature. This is what I want to do with my movie that's emulating and looking like a movie from the 1970s. That would have been the coolest thing in the world. And I think that's what we were truly robbed of by this movie bombing. I would just wonder the world that we live in a parallel world where this was a popular big hit. I wonder how many Grindhouse double features would we have gotten. I think this would have been something to continue and walk along with legs, where instead it was unfortunately stopped dead in its tracks. So Death Proof and Planet Terror, the Grindhouse double feature, to me is one of the all-time most fascinating failures, because I just think of the what could have been and how many good movies that we could have gotten that emulated the movies of yesteryear that I so much adore. So that's kind of the way I look at this whole thing in as a whole. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see what you guys have to say. Where were we? I don't remember where we were. IFC films would pretty much be all bombs if you went by box office totals instead of high quality films. Well, yeah, no, see, quality doesn't matter tonight. That's the thing. As you'll see, as good as Grindhouse, as much as I like Grindhouse, there's some movies on here that I don't like at all. Grindhouse feels like an old classic 70s because of how it pays homage. Totally. My top 10 box office movie bomb is the sci-fi classics Flash Gordon. Well, you got to love Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon's a lot of fun. I think what hurt Grindhouse the most is that your average moviegoer didn't and still doesn't have any clue what Grindhouse is or means. They were probably confused by the whole thing. I think you're absolutely on the money. I totally don't think people that weren't in the know knew what they were walking into. I think they went, okay, that's the end. Like, okay, we're leaving. And in turn, missed Death Proof, missed the trailers, missed the fun and the point of why they paid the ticket, right? How many fucking times do you get the chance to pay one ticket and see two movies? It's rare. It doesn't really happen nowadays. Yet this was the opportunity to do it, and people left after the first half hour or the first movie, or they didn't come at all. So it's kind of a really unfortunate thing here. Did you know that Planet Terror, they play the song "The Crazies Come Out," which was from the soundtrack of Escape from New York? That's absolutely right, and that's really who they were emulating. There's a lot of John Carpenter love, right? Like the reason once Mickey Rourke said no to Stuntman Mike, they reached out to Kurt Russell because they loved Snake Plissken. Snake. They reached out and they were like, Kurt Russell, would you want to do this? And there's nobody that would have been a better choice for Stuntman Mike. They discussed Mickey Rourke. They discussed Stallone. Could you fucking have imagined Stallone as hey, you want to take a ride in my car? I mean, that would have been the funniest fucking thing ever if Stallone was Stuntman Mike. But in the world, Kurt Russell was the guy to get. Saw them as the double feature at the drive-in. Amazing experience. If you have to pick one, Death Proof for me. I'm a big Death Proof fan. I know people don't like the talking in it. They say it's just too much talking. I completely understand that, but Kurt Russell steals it. In the unedited version, you do see a great lap dance scene for what it's worth. Probably the best lap dance scene in movie history. I love the soundtrack. I love the idea. To me, it's the closest that Tarantino ever came to making a horror film. The first half of it feels like a slasher movie in some of the tropes, right? The musical cues when a light switch is turned on and a character is surprised. The murder scene in the car where Kurt Russell turns off the lights and drives into the women, and they're all, dismantled and dismembered in numerous ways. Absolutely insane. And then the second half is more like, a car chase movie, right? Like White Lightning, something like that, where it's very much more of a car chase movie. It's almost like he made a movie of two halves, the horror half and the car chase half. And both halves are really good for my money. I really like Death Proof better personally, but I'd love to know which one you like better. Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm fucking roasted right now. Dr. Howdy 6664 is roasted only on my graveyard. I saw Grindhouse in the theater, barely remember Planet Terror for some reason, but I, all caps, hated Death Proof. I loved the whole opening, but after that, it just fell off so hard for me. Okay, so you liked the first half, hated the second half. That's understandable because he really did. He made two different films. He really was like, I don't think he could decide, okay, horror movie or car chase movie, fuck it, I'll combine them. And I think that's what throws people off. The first half is straight up horror movie. You get the bar and the nachos and Stuntman Mike and Icy Hot. And I don't know. I loved the interactions with he and Rose McGowan at the bar. Like this hey, Warren, anybody you can vouch for to give me a ride? Fair lady, your chariot awaits. That's like, oh man, it's so good. It's funny. I've studied a lot of film in my life, and I'm a big screenplay guy. I love reading screenplays. Death Proof is a screenplay I've read all the way through. And there's certain characters that are not in it. There's certain lines that don't make the movie. The actual screenplay is online, unedited, unfiltered, and it's a great screenplay. If you like reading screenplays, if you're a nerd like me for that, read that screenplay. It's so fucking fascinating to me. I'm a big Death Proof mark. I know people don't really like it very much, but I'm a big fan. Hello, Graveyard Army. Hello, Grande. Susie's in the house. Susie, what's going on? You got the yes, I finally got the jersey I wanted. It took long enough, but they finally had it back in stock. And I said, you know what? Why not? It's just after the Christmas season. Yo, what up, Grande's Garrett and all the legends in the chat. Jim Ninja JK is in the house. Welcome, my friend, all the way from Aussie. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Hope all is well. You could have colored me shocked when I saw your post and noticed Grindhouse Double Feature was a bomb. Yeah, sometimes movies that are successful in quality don't necessarily equate to them being a bomb. Like people don't realize it. You just don't. You go, oh, those are two really good movies. That's it. It stops there. Whereas if the movie is bad and didn't make a lot of money, then it's ultimately amplified. Where it's like, holy shit, let's throw tomatoes at that fucking kid, right? That's kind of how it works. I'm roasted too. Okay, we have some roasted viewers in the house. Now that that would have been awesome. Love both Death Proof and Grindhouse. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I like the whole experience. Like I think it's a great time at the movies. It's just a shame that it didn't catch on, didn't draw, and unfortunately, I think we were robbed of quite a few things. Did you know like some of the classic movies, Citizen Kane, Wizard of Oz, and Disney classics like Fantasia originally, Fantasia 2000 was a monstrous bomb. That's like holy shit bomb. That didn't come out of the randomizer, but I believe that was in there. Fantasia 2000. Holy fucking shit, man. If I was involved in that financially, I don't know, I'd probably run away. Like I'd flee the country. At least we did get a few later on, like Machete. Yeah, no, listen, the glass is half full. I mean, 3 of those movies ended up getting made. Thanksgiving, Machete, and fucking Hobo the Shotgun all got made. That's pretty crazy to think that 3 of those movies that were never supposed to be made got made. And I think Machete was a hit because it got a sequel, but I don't know. Hobo Shotgun was pretty much limited run, direct to magnet Blu-ray release, which I love that movie. I think Hobo the Shotgun's great. I love Jason Eisner, and he went on to have tremendous success with the Dark Side of the Ring series that's on, Viceland. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, whatever the fuck. Eli Roth is horrible. Good point. I think we would have gotten Grindhouse movies and continuing series, just like you said. Never thought about that before. Yeah, no, to me, that's like the big. Like, yeah, it's a shame this didn't make money, but fuck, what were we robbed of? Like, I sometimes want to look through that parallel universe where, maybe we got like Grindhouse 2, Grindhouse 3, etc. Like, that would have been really cool to see. And to me, it would have been a great platform for up and comers to take low budget pictures and make a wide, big budget noise with them, right? Like get a big wide theatrical release. And Tarantino and Rodriguez could have handpicked them themselves. Like those two guys know film. Those two guys could have helped some up and coming people and give them money to actually, with their palette and make their art. And I think that would have been something that would have been really nice. Can't believe it bombed either. Both are awesome. I think I like Death Proof more. Yeah, I'm definitely with the Death Proof way. Pseudonym 13. Death Proof is kind of slow until the final car chase. So it sounds okay. So you maybe like the second chase or the second part better. I've heard a lot. I've heard most. I think the majority likes Planet Terror more. I'm just like more so. I think the Grindhouse exploitative element, I definitely Death Proof. Like to me, the other one is just much more of it's teasing exploitation films. I actually thought it was watching old re-release 70s movies the first time I watched it. Totally. Where do you find screenplays to read, Grande? I have been trying to find a site where I can download them. So they're all over. I mean, if you want, I can try to find the Death Proof one again for you. It shouldn't be hard to find. Honestly, if you Googled it, it'd probably come right up. I don't use a specific site for it, but it's sometimes when I want to find something, I'll look hard enough and I will find it. And man, it's just a good, relaxing time for me. I'm more of a Planet Terror fan, but Death Proof is a fucking wild ride. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think they're both fantastic movies. So yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with Grindhouse Experience, Planet Terror, Death Proof. But unfortunately, they're the first bomb of the evening as we go back to the Wheel of Torture. Now there were 10 box office bombs. Who is next on the chopping block? Who's it going to be? Oh, shit. Oh, no. No. Coming up next is, I think, a movie that has to be an argument for the worst animated movie I've ever seen in my life. It is definitely in the bottom 5 of the worst animated movies I've ever seen in my entire life. From the year 2008, I'm talking about Delgo. Delgo. Yes, Delgo. I'm sure there's a lot of you going, what the fuck is Delgo? And to that answer question, you may just find something very funny. Now, of course, Delgo is a movie that was conceptualized and started development as early as the year 1999. Now, of course, I just said it was released in 2008. It took 9 years from the pre-production development stage, writing, whatever, the creativity, the name Delgo when it was conceived. 1999, it doesn't come out until the year 2008. And this was an absolute horror. I mean, I don't even know if horrific is the word, but just horrible production, horrifically long, horrifically plagued with problems. And man, this is one of the all-time biggest box office bombs because on a budget of $40 million, this movie did not gross back $1 million. It grossed just over 900,000 worldwide, played only theatrically for 1 week, and was the all-time leader and all-time record breaker in movies that grossed the least amount of money that were released in over 2,000 screens. This was released on just over 2,100 screens worldwide in the summer of 2008. And it had a per theater gross and person counter of 2 people. So for every one of the 2,100 theaters that played this movie, there was an average of 2 people in each theater. That's how fucking little this movie got supported. And it's a crazy story. I mean, the people that made this were from Georgia. This wasn't a Hollywood tale. This wasn't a DreamWorks project or Pixar or all of these 3D animation companies that were coming up around the pike at the time. Now, you got to keep in mind, the time was 1999, and they initially wanted the voice cast and do a little I Know What You Did Last Summer nod, and they got Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. to be the 2 leads, the 2 love and couple, right? Oh, okay, listen, they were just in the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. It's 1999. We'll get them together again. The movie doesn't come out until 2008, so that whole thing gets kind of lost. And this dumbass, the president of their company, comes on this interview and says in 2002, this is going to be the next Shrek. This is going to make more money than Shrek. It's better than Shrek. He goes on and on and on. It's this great infamous interview where he's saying that this movie is going to be better than Shrek. It is going to gross the world. It's going to be the next big thing in the, world of 3D animation. And he was so sure. All of his eggs were in the basket of Delgo. Fucking Delgo. Now, there's 100 different problems with this. Problem number 1, that is a shitty name for a movie. The initial name was going to be Delgado, which was, of course, is a Spanish word. And even any of my baseball fans, Carlos Delgado was a hell of a baseball player. Yeah, I know Mateo's a big Blue Jays fan. He was also on the Mets. He was an awesome fucking player. Delgado was supposed to be the name. They changed it to Delgo because they felt Delgado was too long. And the movie basically plays out just like your typical Dances with Wolves or Fern Gully or Pocahontas or Avatar. If you've seen any of those movies I just mentioned, you likely know the fucking story of Delgo. It's this race of like lizard-esque people and this other race of fairy-esque people, and Delgo is our main lizard guy, Jennifer Love Hewitt is our main fairy, and they kind of fall in love despite their races being arch rivals. And can they overcome the creed and the prejudice and the people that don't want them to be together and their hatred for one another's right? Like, if you know, it's a very fucking played out story, and that's what Delgo is. Now, the problem is the animation style. This is one of the ugliest films I've ever watched in my life. And I understand that you weren't in Hollywood, that you didn't have the best of the best animators, right? They actually recruited college students that were learning 3D computer animation at said time. That's who they hired with their $40 million. They paid them over time in order to conceptualize and create this movie from a 3D animation platform. And it fucking shows. This doesn't look like something a college kid would do. This looks like something a fucking 7th grade kid in his home computer made on his fucking laptop for no money and no time. It is ugly. It is disgusting. The animation is awful. The editing, the look, the colors, the palette. It is some of the ugliest shit you will ever see. The story is as vanilla as it gets. And it took so long for this movie to come out that 2 of the fucking voice actors died during production. Anne Bancroft plays the heel in this movie, the lead heel, that I am the evil empress and I will kill you all, that type of character. She fucking died in 2005, so they had to have somebody dub her lines towards the end. They didn't finish. It's 6 years of Anne Bancroft being alive and didn't finish her fucking lines before 2008 when this piece of shit came out. I mean, holy shit. You had John Vernon of Animal House, double secret probation. This was his last film. He died around the same time. He didn't even see the movie come out. So two of your fucking voice actors that do roles in this movie didn't even make it to the premiere because it went over 9 years of production. It's an absolute mess. And all the money that you invested, right? We're not going in the Hollywood system. We're not going by that. We're not marketing through them. We're going to use these up and comers that are coming out of college that are hungry, right? And we have $40 million and we got some names, right? We have Chris Kattan from SNL. We've got Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt and Malcolm McDowell, all these people that you may know. And this thing didn't gross $1 million fucking dollars worldwide. Released in over 2,100 screens. It sounds mathematically impossible, but this thing came and it went, and it was quicker than a fart in church. It was one of the all-time biggest box office bombs. To have a budget of 8 figures and not even gross 7. That is unheard of. I mean, unheard of. And you can see why. I tried watching this movie this week. I got through about an hour until I fucking turned it off. I was like, this is absolutely fucking pitiful that this got a main budget release. And listen, I understand that they, invested all this money and they probably worked really hard. Listen, that's 9 years, right? And some of the directors were talking about how many long days they worked over the long 9-year fucking period that it took to pre-produce, shoot, develop, animate the whole 9 yards until this thing gets released, right? It was a whole 9-year process only to see it fall flat on its fucking face. That, my friends, is why this is one of the all-time biggest box office bombs. It'd be one thing if all that work and hard work and dedication and all this stuff, nearly a decade of it, paid off in the end. This becomes a $400 million movie and it does outgrow Shrek and it does become this all-time great animated classic. I'm telling you, this did not belong in a movie theater. Like, this is direct-to-video animated quality. And I've seen better direct-to-video animated quality movies in my life. Like, that's how bad this was. I hate Delgo. It deserved to fucking bomb. The president of their fucking whatever company, he should have shut his fucking mouth. Comparing this in the same breath as Shrek is a disgrace to the human race. So Delgo fucking sucks. I wouldn't recommend it to my worst enemy. I truly do think it deserves the quality of the all-time, one of the biggest bombs, because it was really, really, really bad. Let's see what you'll have to say in the comments. My top 9 box office bombs. Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow feels like a live-action and animated movie. You have this pilot who teams up with an ex-lover to stop a mad scientist. Okay, I like Sky Captain. All right, Mateo's with you. Me too, Matt. It has Raiders of the Lost Ark feel. I have never heard Chris Jericho. I have never, ever heard of Delgo. I'll put him in the walls of Jericho, make him tap. Texas THC is here, 1965. Hola, Grande. Hola, Tex. Hope all is well with you, buddy. People saying hi. It must be really bad for me to turn it off. That is true. I learned something this week, Miss C. I truly did. I can deal with some of the worst horror movies. I can get through some of the worst horror movies that there are. When it's a non-genre bad fucking, like, I can't. I turned more than one movie off this week. That never happens. I mean, never. And Delgo was that bad. Like, I was like, I'm not watching this anymore. I got through about 50 to an hour and I just looked. I was like, nope, I'm not. Like, you've seen this. Like, the story, that's the thing. It's like 9 years for this story. And what's crazy, Avatar comes out the next year with a very similar story, whatever. We've seen the story, like I said, 100 times before. That movie makes the most money in the history of almost $3 billion. And these people wanted to sue them over it. They said, oh, you ripped off Delgo. You ripped us off. It's the same story. It's the same shit. They were filing for lawsuit. If they didn't already lose enough fucking money of $40+ million you fucking lost, probably way more, that you fucking made this movie for, and then you tried to sue Jimmy Cammey to get some of his $3 billion? Are you fucking kidding me? As much as I don't like Avatar, and I think those movies suck, I really do. I hate Avatar movies. Those are Citizen Kane next to fucking Delgo. Like, I have taken shits better than I have seen venereal diseases that are better than fucking Delgo. I mean, that's how fucking bad this movie is. I still have Sky Captain would probably have been a better choice here. Delgo sucks, Delgado doesn't. Exactly. This would have done a really bad thing to the name of Delgado, right? So happily Delgo got switched. Delgo, you just made the list. Yeah, you just made the top 11 box office bomb list, and of course picked by the randomizer. But yeah, Delgo, It fucking sucks. Don't ever watch Delgo. It's just the absolute disgrace of cinema, and to me, one of the all-time worst box office bombs on here. So yeah, that's a brutal one. Delgo is for the birds. Let's move on though. Let's move on to bigger and better things, hopefully. But there are some movies on this that are worse, and I hope we don't get any of them. Close one. What do we got? Oh, all right. So we go from Delgo to one of the all-time greatest movies ever made. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I know. Weird that this ended up being a bomb, but yeah, I pulled out the DVD for this one. It's a Wonderful Life. I love this movie. This is an all-time great movie. And to me, Jimmy Stewart at his absolute finest. I mean, there are movies like Harvey and The Stratton Story and Vertigo and so many great performances. Philadelphia Story, which he won the Oscar for. I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan. And I love Frank Capra, the director, who always considered this to be his best movie. Donna Reed as Mary. Look at all the people showing up. Look, Mary. Oh, our kids are so big. Oh, Mary, this drafty old house. I wouldn't live in it if I was a ghost. You gotta love Jimmy Stewart, Frank Capra. It's a Wonderful Life, a story of a man that wants to leave, Bedford Falls, and he wants to go out and he wants to explore, but everything ties him down, whether it be the bank business, whether it be the woman of his dreams, whether it be the children, whether it be Mr. Potter, the evil Lionel Barrymore in the film, and Mr. Potter, I'm in trouble. There's so much to love about It's a Wonderful Life because it's just a beautiful film. It has so much to say, and it's so it's just uplifting in a lot of ways. It really, really is. However, the elephant in the room is that this was a flop. This didn't fucking make a profit. This lost over $500,000 for the studio that released it. RKO. No Randy Orton involvement. RKO was the studio here. And it's kind of fucking crazy that this movie was a bomb. And I always wondered as to why that was. Now, there's a lot of backstory as far as the release of this movie. They initially planned to release it in January of 1947. They pushed it back just to make sure that it would be up for Best Picture a couple months later when they did the Oscars in February of 47 for the movies that came out in the year of 1946. So they pushed it back. And they pushed it back here in December of 1946 to make sure it would qualify for the Oscars in a couple months, right? We released our movie in December. It's fresh in the critics' mind. It's fresh in the Hollywood foreign press's minds. Let's get It's a Wonderful Life, an Academy Award for Best Picture. That didn't happen. This movie didn't win Best Picture. Another movie called, funny enough, has the word lives in it, The Best Years of Our Lives, which is another great movie to me, just as good, if not better. So, that's one where I can see why people, went with that one over this. That's a great movie, too, about these three soldiers coming back from the war. One of them has no more hands, and it's his life dealing with living life without hands. And he was not even an actor. He was a real, soldier that came back and lost his hands and just gave a raw performance that no actor ever could because he wasn't acting. He was playing himself. He was showing you his day in and day out life of a man that no longer can use his left or right hand. And it was a sad, sad film. Great, great stuff, though. Great love story. Greer Garson. Just a great movie is The Best Years of Our Lives. So I understand why that one won over this. However, when you look at this movie and you wonder to yourself, why? I mean, it was released during December, right? It was released during Christmas season. There is the whole Christmas theme of the movie, especially towards the end of the whole, to my big brother George, the richest man in town, the whole holiday theme of the people singing at the end. And the teacher says every time a bell rings, the teacher gets his wings. There was a lot to love about this, and it had a lot of great Christmas spirit. Why did it bomb? I really wonder if the world was ready for a movie like It's a Wonderful Life at that time. Now, you got to keep in mind that the World War II ends in 1945, right? We're just coming off a world war. We're a year after it, 1946. And this is a movie that in a lot of ways is dealing about a man with depression, right? Jimmy Stewart, we watch his whole luxurious life and how he helps people, right? The store shop owner that had the tablets filled with rat poison by accident while he was drunk, and he would have killed the kid, but of course George Bailey caught him in time. And then of course you have the one girl who has the crush on him, but he's not really interested, and he kind of talks her out of a lesser life. All the people that you impact, the brother that he saved, the Donna Reed character who would have been a homeless librarian without him. I always thought that was kind of weird. Like Donna Reed would have found somebody. I think Donna Reed would have been okay, but whatever. It's a movie. All the people that you impact, but it takes a near-death experience, right? Of the whole, oh, hey, I wish I had never been born. All right, you've never been born. And he sees his life and how all these other people's lives would have been impacted for the negative if he wasn't there. And it's through that where he finally sees the glass half full and goes, you know what, it is a wonderful life. I may live in Bedford Falls and may be miserable and, shit out of luck or whatever, but this wonderful life is real and it is mine. And that's kind of the story that he realizes there. But there's the point where he's depressed, is the point where he contemplates suicide and jumping off into the water and killing himself. I mean, that's not something that was widely considered and done in film in this era, right? Especially coming off a world war where, it ended with a fucking nuclear bomb. Like, I wonder if that had anything to do with it, the depression element of this movie. This ideology of a movie that has a man that's so depressed that may want to take his own life, but then, of course, finds the silver lining. I wonder if the theme of depression in it was something that steered people away. I don't know. I wasn't there. I couldn't tell you. I mean, the only way to know would have been to take the temperature of people walking out of the theater in 46, and none of us were there for that, I don't think. It just makes me wonder and speculate why. Like it would be one thing, okay, let's say they released it in July. Yeah, you see, okay, but why? Why the fuck would you release it in July? No, they released it in December, released it at the right time. It's Christmas time. I don't know. I don't know why it bombed. That's my speculation. Maybe the world just wasn't ready for a movie like this. And it wasn't until years later in like the 70s when the TV rights were sold that this movie started to play every year on Channel 4, CBS annually. Or no, NBC. Sorry, NBC it played annually on Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock. And this was a movie that I watched as a kid every Christmas Eve with my family. And it's a movie that's kind of garnered, no pun intended, not legs, but wings. This is considered one of the best movies ever made, and I have a hard time arguing that. This is a great film. It's just astounding to know that it lost money. It wasn't the big hit that we all thought it was going to be. It didn't win Best Picture like they thought it was a shoo-in to do. Jimmy Stewart didn't win Best Actor like I think he may have most likely been, honestly, should have won. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Philadelphia Story. I'm happy he did win an Oscar in his career, but that was the lone one. He never won another Oscar. He didn't win for Vertigo. He didn't win for this. Didn't win for Harvey. Didn't win for these movies. It's crazy he didn't win as this. And I'll say before I move to comments and move on, there's a great video. If you love David Lynch like I do, there's a great video of David Lynch talking about It's a Wonderful Life and Jimmy Stewart in it. And like, he made me realize how truly special Jimmy Stewart's performance is in that movie when he's explaining at the end where he's in the bar and he's crying and he's withered and sad and like down on himself. And, the scene where they kind of do that great, Capra does that great close-up of a man that's lost it all, a man that truly is on the brink of possibly taking his own life. That, to me, it is some of the best acting you'll ever see. And again, it's dialogueless. It's all in his expression of a man that's gone from the top and now is ultimately at rock bottom. Great stuff. It's a Wonderful Life is great. It never deserved to, but this should have grossed all the money that there fucking could have been. But yeah, no, lost some money for RKO. All RKO was a little upset with the box office return on that one. Let's see. Number 8 for you is Transformers from 86. That's an awesome one. Love the Vince DiNicola score. Every time a Grande rants, an angel gets his wings. Wow, I'm handing out wings. Look, Gremlins pays homage to It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, there's a lot of homages to It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is one of the most perfect movies, honestly, ever made. We've got Khan in the house. Grande back with the facts. Khan, welcome, my friend. Hope all is well with you. This guy needs to teach a film class. Man, I really, really, really wish. I don't know what the specifications or qualifications I would need, but man, that would be awesome. I do have a degree in communications, maybe someday. Had no idea It's a Wonderful Life bomb. That's ridiculous. Isn't it crazy? It's one of the best movies ever made. It's on every Christmas Eve. Didn't fucking make money in the theater. Just wild to think, man. It's one I really would like to see in the theater too. Like, it has so many great moments. Oh, what's that, Mary? You want the moon? I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it in for you. I love that. Come on, baby, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Great, great, great. I heard Wonderful Life was never a classic until TV. That's right. Miss C is absolutely right. That's what happened. It was in the 1970s. They sold the TV rights. And then the movie it was like people discovered it. It was like, what the fuck? Like, where was this movie been for the past 30 fucking years? And that, to me, that's so fucking crazy. Like, my dad always tells a story of seeing this as a kid in the 70s. He's like, that's one of the best movies ever. And that's really sort of when it got discovered more so. It wasn't looked at as this all-time great movie in the 50s and 60s. It just wasn't. I don't think I've seen It's a Wonderful Life, believe it or not. Oh, man. I gotta tell you, I don't know. Granted, I know obviously we've talked about films and stuff, but I don't know your taste. It's a movie that I think is a universal classic, though. Like I don't know if anybody doesn't like It's a Wonderful Life. So I'd be curious if you did watch, man. Please do share your thoughts if you do. A great movie. Every time a bell rings, Dr. Hogg gets rimmed. Well, Dr. Hogg. I'm sure Dr. Hogg gets rimmed more than even that. Ted McChillin. Yes, Street Heat Love. I got my Ted jersey. I'm showing off the Rookie of the Year. I just happened to draft him in the 7th round when no one else had faith. And old number 4, and then the all-time best rookie receiver, 1,000 yards and a few touchdowns and a playoff. Come on, he's in the playoffs on Saturday. I'm a big Ted McMillan fan. But yes, I'm also It's a Wonderful Life fan. And that movie, of course, was the next one up here on the chopping block. Love It's a Wonderful Life. Let's move on, though. Let's move on to the next movie on the Wheel of Torture. I don't think we can outdo It's a Wonderful Life. That's probably the best movie on the list. Oh, no. What are we going to get here? All right. Birds of Prey. Oh, boy. The Birds of Prey, a.k.a. there's also, of course, obnoxious subtitle of this. Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, a.k.a. Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, a.k.a. Birds of Prey. There's 100 different titles for this movie. They actually did change it a few times when it had its theatrical run. And to me, this is one of the all-time most fascinating box office bombs because I to this day, we're 6 years after this happened, and I still fucking can't believe it. Like, there are things that shock me, and then there's this. Like, this is in a category, a league, a world of its own when it comes to box office bombs. And to me, I take it all the way back to an anecdote I had when I worked Comic-Con. I worked Comic-Con in the Javits Center in late 2019. I want to say it was October or September of 2019. I'm in Comic-Con. It's New York City, and I see the biggest billboard for Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. And man, the amount of women I saw at that Comic-Con that were cosplayed, not just as Harley Quinn, but as the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, I was like overwhelmed. And I remember seeing that billboard and seeing all the way, and I was like, when that movie comes out, man, it's going to break records that we have never seen broken before. I mean, it is going to set the fucking world on fire. There's no stopping this movie because let's be honest, the Suicide Squad movie that came out before was a mess. It was a horrible movie. Will Smith was good in the film. I liked his character. I liked Margot Robbie in the film. Heath Ledger, I'm sorry, not Heath Ledger. What's his name? Jared Leto's Joker. Horrible. The soundtrack was good. Horrible direction. Horrible villain. Horrible, just really bad wannabe James Gunn movie. So much so to the point where they got James Gunn to do the sequel when it was The Suicide Squad. They said, "Fuck all this shit. We're not gonna. We'll just actually get James Gunn to do it," and that's when it worked a lot better. I thought Harley Quinn would be a smash dunk in the box office. Like couldn't wait to hear the numbers. On a budget of about $100 million, this movie made about $200 million, 205 to be exact. So you probably hear that and go, okay, usually your money times 2 is a profit, Grande. I mean, 200 is a little low for a Harley Quinn project, but why was this such a bomb? You got to include marketing costs. You have to include the theater percentage, right? The theater is going to take a percentage of that ticket that they sell to each and everybody. And this movie had to make around $250 to $300 million in order to break even. That was their, okay, we broke even point. It grossed $100 million less than their break even point. That's how much this thing bombed. And it come out just a week apart from Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, which at that time, I remember everybody, Sonic looks terrible. They went back, they made the adjustments, they made Sonic look better. We got Jim Carrey to come off the couch out of retirement into this Eggman role, and that movie grossed all the money in the world. A fucking blue hedgehog that was being heckled, that was being laughed at, that was bashed in the trailer where they played Gangsta's Paradise as Sonic ran around the fucking city. That movie beat the shit out of this movie. It made double plus some $100 million over this movie. You're talking about not just any comic book character, right? This would have been one thing if it was Elektra and it was Jennifer Gardner in her Bennifer days, right? That's one movie to bomb. Harley fucking Quinn? Harley Quinn. Everybody and their mother, everybody and their fat sister dressing up like Harley fucking Quinn, man, at these conventions. Some people should, some people shouldn't. I'm just stating facts. Don't hate me, because if you do, it's an unfortunate thing. But hey, listen, I can't believe it. Bigger, I would say bigger than Wonder Woman. I would say bigger than the biggest female action / comic book star that there is. And this thing bombed. And I wonder why. There's a lot of reasons, I think, as to why that happened. Number one, the title. That's a horrible fucking title. You have 800 different titles. The Fabulous Emancipation of fucking Harley Quinn. Get the fuck out of here. Just call the movie Harley Quinn. That's all you had to fucking Harley or Quinn. Anything but Birds of Prey. The Fabulous. Too much. Way too much of a tongue twister. So much so that the studios felt that's why the movie didn't draw. I do think that's a huge reason why it didn't. Reason number two. If there's one thing that Suicide Squad movie did right, it was that it knew that there is money in sex. And I know that's a conversation that this generation does not want to have, but is a conversation that you need to fucking nut up or shut up, because that's a conversation we have to. Sex sells, whether you like that or not, whether you're angry at that or not, whether you want to throw tomatoes at me or not. Sex sells, and Harley Quinn is a sex symbol. And you look at her in the fucking Suicide Squad movie, yeah, there was the scene where she's putting her shirt on and all the boys stopped and, oh, sorry, boys, the whole thing. That was amazing. That was a great scene, and it got people into that fucking theater, whether you liked it or not. I didn't like it at all, but sex sells. We couldn't have had Harley Quinn more bundled up. Her hair looks shitty. Her outfits are shitty. She shows no fucking skin in this movie whatsoever. I'm not saying she had to walk around in her fucking yits and her ass out. I'm just saying, would it kill you to show a little skin? I don't know. I think it would have helped the box office of the movie, because I truly think that sex sells, whether you like that or not. Another thing, this was directed by a female director. This was directed by Kathy Yan, who said that she felt tremendous pressure being a woman directing this film, and said that she felt that she failed women because she felt that not enough men went to go see this movie. She felt that she missed and wanted to show and prove to the world that it doesn't have to be a male director. This is something that any female... Listen, no disrespect to her, and if that's something that she wants to say, that she feels the movie bombed, it may be very right. I mean, listen, demographically, I bet you more women went to go see this. I think that's a big part in how the movie was fucking marketed. And the movie itself does very much feel like Fuck Men, the movie. And like, not in a good way, fuck men in a whole boys drool, girls rule type of way. And there's a happy medium with that. I'm not trying to say that you can't have a male villain in your movie. Ewan McGregor is the villain. Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. I love Ewan McGregor. He feels so out of place here. Ewan McGregor's wife is in the fucking movie. Just the whole Birds of Prey element didn't need to be in there. Harley Quinn could have carried this on her own. It was a very bad move from the creative, and a very, very bad move from the marketing to shy away from showing Harley and selling tickets with her. You had enough people to get into the building if you sold this movie as Harley alone and then did the rest later. And instead, they just threw so much at it. No, we're not going to be like Suicide Squad, be revealing. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a team of women. Oh, we're going to a bad guy that hates women. Oh, we're going to bundle up Harley Quinn. We're going to take away her color. You took away her color. You took away her life. That was the problem here. And I truly believe the title, and mixed with everything else I just said, is why this thing bombed and why you ended up with the egg on your face while Sonic the fucking Hedgehog was running around fucking loops on your ass, collecting rings all the way home from the fucking box office. It's a disgrace to the fucking film business that you fucking had this character in its prime, and all these fucking people dressing up as Harley Quinn couldn't wait to go. And you got nobody there, man. holy shit, this is an absolute atrocity of a fucking film to me. Like it's not the worst movie of all time. It's not horrible. It's not the worst movie on this list. But as far as potential, I mean, you couldn't have dropped the ball any fucking further than you did, really. I mean, I would be shamed too. I would be ashamed too if I directed this and I was like, oh my God, I had this character and it fucking flopped. You telling me this flopped? I would lose sleep over that personally. But let's see what you guys have to say. I'm curious what you guys think about Harley Quinn. Let's see. The breakfast sandwich she made in the Birds of Prey was my biggest takeaway. See, Ben Grimm, and Ben Grimm watches more films than hardly anybody I know. And like, yeah, that's all he remembers is a breakfast sandwich that's made in the picture. Like, okay, yeah, you got Rosie Perez, great. She's not doing anything. Yeah, you got Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's not doing anything. Like, this should have been Harley Quinn's day. How long have we waited for Harley Quinn to have her fucking moment? Right? And all the great voice actors that played her, and Tara Strong, like, come on, man. And then you drop the ball this far. It's a disgrace. Number 7 bomb, Dick Tracy from 1990. Oh, you have a little Al Pacino joint. What's up, Grande? Nice jersey. Go Rams, though. Hello. My Puka jersey. Oh, hey, man. You wear your Puka jersey Saturday. I'll wear my Tat jersey. I'll be in my normal Steelers colors on Monday night, but I don't know. I had to rep the Rookie of the Year here. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Did you know that long ago there was once a Birds of Prey TV series, but had nothing to do with the movie? Yes, I did know that. And unfortunately, I'm sure the TV show did a lot better. I love Birds of Prey, to be honest. That Halsey song and the soundtrack here is so good. Yeah, no, there are some people that like it. It definitely has a little bit of a following. Birds of Prey came out like a month before COVID. That's right. That it did. That is true. However, I mean, Sonic still made over $500 million. Like, it was right. Granted, it was right there, so people can point at the pandemic if they want to. But this movie had enough time to make its money. Like, the movie theaters weren't shut down until a good 4 weeks into its run. So you can point the finger at the pandemic, but I don't know how credible that argument is with this particular movie. Like, okay, listen, if it's March related, sure. Like, I hear that. Like Soul, that Pixar movie, really good Pixar movie. That one was a victim of it. Like, that totally would have made way more money. Is that a Panthers jersey? Stukas Dive 3071. Yes, it is. It certainly turned some eyes tonight, this Tet McMillan jersey. I don't know. I'm a Steelers fan. Don't worry. I'm not turning coat on my team, but I'm a big fantasy football fan, and Tet McMillan was my favorite player that I had this year. So I just said, you know what? I was like, I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to buy myself a nice little jersey. I get what you're saying, but I also realize that a lot of the type of people who you'll see in public cosplaying Harley Quinn probably don't know or care about anything other than the aesthetic. Really? Okay, that's interesting. I mean, that's a good point. I'm sure there are people just doing it to fit the look, right? And I'm sure there are people who go, hey, I look good. Like, this will catch eyes if I'm dressed up as a popular character. This will turn heads even more so if it's just to say I was something else. Like, perfect example. That same day, and I have a picture of this. I can post it after the show if someone reminds me. I have a picture of that day. I ran into someone who cosplayed as Kim Possible. And I stopped her and went, holy shit. I was like, Kim Possible. I was like, that's the best fucking cosplay I've seen all day. And she went, thank you. I went, why? She goes, nobody fucking knows. She's like, she goes, I'm waiting for somebody to say something. You're the first one. And I was like, come here, we'll take a picture together. I was working. I was like, get the fuck over here. So I took a picture with her, and I remember she was just so happy I recognized who she was. Meanwhile, there was 3,000 Harley fucking Quinns, So yeah, and she's a good looking girl. So yeah, I don't know. Kim Possible don't sell like Harley does, but yeah, the Kim Possible movie wasn't a fucking $200 million bomb. Aspect, I've met a few people who love Trick or Treat and haven't seen it. Sure, listen, hey, Sam has become the mascot of the holiday. You can't go to Spirit Halloween now without seeing Sam. Like, Sam has become as big as fucking Michael Myers. Like, and listen, there may not be as many movies franchise-wise, but, like, you see that motherfucker everywhere. Like, I had a friend a few years ago, Nixon Trone, dear friend of the show, just got married. Congratulations. He said to me, Grande, what the fuck is Trick or Treat? And I told him, and he goes, how in the hell was that not released theatrically after he saw it? And I told him the story. Warner Brothers didn't believe in it, and it was the top-selling DVD of the year 2007. And he was like, holy fucking shit, like, how hard can you drop the ball? Like, his amazement of that was really funny. The fact that it is a spinoff of Suicide Squad says it all, garbage. And Suicide Squad, the first one, is fucking horrible movie. But, like, to me, all your potential was here because I think they saw and realized Harley Quinn is the reason why a lot of people want to go see this fucking movie. Like, let's do that. Let's make this movie Solo, and it just bombed. From my perspective, I remember when it came out, and I remember not really being interested in it at all. I didn't even see it until months and months after the fact. See, that's interesting. And the age-old question, why? Why were you not interested? It's a very interesting question to ask. Why? What about it didn't gauge your interest? And I guess if they knew the answer to that question, they may have had a lot more money be made here. Also, this was a point when DC was on the streak of just shitty films, so that dropped my interest in it too. Okay, so you just feel like we're on a bad run. That bright blue jersey accentuates your chestnut hair. God, I'll never live the chestnut hair down, never. But Harley Quinn, man, and the Birds of Prey and the fabulous emancipation of my fucking asshole. Fuck this movie. No thanks, man. Spin it. Spin the wheel of torture, please. Let's move on from Harley. Let's move hopefully to something better. It's going to be close. Something better or something worse, but it is something better. It is The Blob from 1988. Yeah, this is an example of one that I, to this day, would love to know, like, why this was such a big bomb. I mean, this comes out in 1988. This is the year after Dream Warriors in 87. And of course, it was the same team. It was Chuck Russell's, Frank Darabont. Those guys went on to make so many good movies. Darabont was going to do The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, all these great movies that he was a part of. And Chuck was no slouch either. I mean, Chuck had directed Dream Warriors the year prior. Chuck did Eraser. Chuck did The Mask with Jim Carrey. I mean, I love Chuck Russell as a filmmaker, and I love the two of them together as a team. And this was a movie that, I mean, I think to this day is one of the best horror movie remakes that there's ever been. Like, I love 1988's The Blob. I think it is one of the best horror movie remakes out there is. It's one of my favorite monster / creature features, period. Like not even all, like just all time. Great monster movie. Now, you look at the budget of $10 million, it grossed $8.2 million worldwide. This movie was a box office, quote, disaster by the people involved. This movie did not make anything in the theater. And I think this is the first one where you can kind of point at the marketing. I know people laugh at me, and I know people say when I do the versus shows, hey, one sheet versus one sheet, that's not a valid, it has nothing to do with the movie. I think it has a lot to do with the movie. I think it has a lot to do with how the movie is going to perform. And case in point, that poster is horrible. That is the worst thing about The Blob 1988, is that poster. Pink fucking goo, yellow text of The Blob, and a fucking hand. That's your poster. That's all the effort you put into your theatrical fucking poster to try to sell and draw people into the theater. Not Shawnee Smith, who was easy on the eyes. Sex sells, kill me. It does. Kevin Dillon, granted, not a household name, not a name that's going to get a lot of people to the movie theater, but couldn't you have put a little bit more fucking time and effort into that poster than you fucking did? And clearly they didn't. And listen, this wasn't well marketed. The campaign was weak, and people didn't show out for this. Now, again, I really like the creative involved. I like the filmmaker. I think they did a great job. And to me, as far as special makeup effects goes, this may be one of the all-time opuses of special makeup effects. Who could forget the guy getting pulled into the fucking sink until he dies? The couple in the car with the juice and until they're melted. The actor from Eraserhead getting killed. Not so many great kills. The woman in the phone booth until the blob and finally consumes her, and the whole kids in the movie theater until their skin is peeled all the way off. So many great practical makeup effects in this movie that it's literally, it's impossible to list them all. And a good heart. I think it's funny where it has to be. I think it has great horror where it has to. I think it has a fun third act in the movie theater in the town where all these guy in the hazmat suits are trying to fight the blob. And I mean, it's a really good remake in my opinion. It's just a shame that this thing had such a weak campaign and to me a weak poster to sell it. And that's the thing here. I don't think they marketed this movie enough to succeed, and hence that is why it failed. I think if you got the masses in this, I think the word of mouth would have spread. I think this would have been a huge box office smash, if you will, because you look at it. I mean, you were in the 1980s, the late 1980s. Horror was booming at the first half. Horror was booming from 80 to 85. I mean, it was booming. And then 86 onward, it seemed to get a little bit more goofy, right? It seemed to get a little bit more tongue in cheek and self-aware. And okay, listen, we have movies like this that were so like they were in on it with you. It was almost like they knew they were in on the charm and the humor and the cheese. Whereas this movie, it does have some tongue in cheek moments, but overall, it's fairly serious and it's a really well done movie, in my opinion, all around. It just makes me wonder why the hell did this movie not become such a big hit? And I truly do believe this was a victim of marketing. I don't think they sold this thing well enough. And listen, it's not easy to sell a movie that sold well 30 years ago. Like when the 1950s, 1958, the original Blob came out, it sold like hotcakes, but that's where horror was at the time. There was them, the big fucking ants, and there was, the Thing from Another World, and there were these creature movies, Tarantula, all of these movies that sold, right? Big Bugs, The Fly. These were movies that were selling in the late 1950s. That was the era. That was where it was booming. So to bring the Blob into the 1980s, where Freddy had taken over and Jason had taken over, and all these other guys, they were almost like Americana. Kids were wearing Freddy Krueger's pajamas to bed when he was a child killer. Freddy was on MTV. Freddy was on a fucking hotline. He was everywhere, but you took a guy that made a Freddy Krueger movie in the following year. Yeah, you gave him something like The Blob, and they paid ultimate homage to the movie that came out 30 years prior in a love letter to monster movies of yesteryear. And the fucking thing fell flat on its face, despite being a really good movie. This is, in my opinion, a really interesting flop when you look at it, because I think this should have been a way bigger hit than it was. And it's kind of a shame. I look at this movie as it's a shame it didn't do more, because I wonder if they would have asked them to make more horror movies. Like, granted, I love what Chuck went on to do. I love what Frank went on to do. But there's, again, parallel world. What could we have gotten more from the horror scene if these two had had a successful hit here? Kind of makes me wonder. Well, let's see what you all have to say in the chat. I'm curious. I think we were Chestnut Hair. Loaded Weapon 1. Loaded Weapon 1 was a big fucking flop. You're absolutely right. And I really like that movie. I think that's a fun one. I wish I had Kevin Dillon's hair in The Blob. I think we all do. We all wish we had Kevin Dillon's hair in The Blob. I saw The Blob for the first time in the last year or so. I did enjoy it a lot, but I think Kevin Dillon was so miscast. It's weird. Yeah, no, I will say that maybe they could have gotten somebody a little bit more marketable for the lead. Like, off the top of my head, no one's really coming to mind, but like, what about, this will probably get me some shit. What about Charlie Sheen? Imagine if it was Charlie Sheen in this. That would have been fucking funny. I would have been all for that over Kevin. Now, Kevin Dillon's not bad, but imagine Charlie Sheen would have been really funny in this. The boyfriend and the arm being pulled by Shawnee Smith's character, freaking awesome. Oh, dude, that's like, oh my God, so good. I love this movie. Like, to me, it's like one of the best remakes. I adore this film, and not just because of Shawnee, but that helped. Dude, man, Shawnee at this time was as beautiful gets. It's funny that I actually saw her in person. I didn't meet her, but I saw her at a Monster Mania. I was like, dude, this lady needs something to eat. Like, she was like really skinny. I was like, my Lord, like, somebody get Shawnee a triple cheeseburger, man. Like, she's still a beautiful lady, but holy shit, man, you need some fucking food. Kevin Dillon, who played the boyfriend, was also in the remake of The Poseidon Adventure. Okay. Kubrick Lover is in the house. Just wanted to say hi. Hi, Kubrick Lover. Hope all's well with you. People saying hi to Kubrick Lover. Stook is saying the Blob remake is great. I'm with you, man. I think this is a great remake. I'm a big fan of this movie. Like, I totally think it deserved a little bit more love. Really like the Blob. It's funny. It seems to have garnered a cult following, right? Well, all of us are saying, oh, we love it. But, I mean, granted, not all of us would have been old enough to see it in 1988, right? This is almost 40 years old now. It's crazy. 38 years old this year, is the Blob remake. And listen, like, I would just be curious. I did, what's cool about this one? They showed it in 35 millimeter at an all-night horror-thon I went to. I got to see this in 35. It was so fun in the theater with a crowd. I was like, oh, man. Like, that made me realize even more. I was like, what could have been? Like, I just had a great time with the crowd in the theater, 35 mil, just how it was in 1988. And man, not enough people got to share that same experience, which kind of sucks. The Blob is great. I watch that one like once a year. Totally. No, I love the Blob as well. Granted, some people just go to the movies occasionally, are not huge movie addicts, so maybe that's why some really good films don't make any money. Yeah, no, listen, there's always the answer to why. And it also always may not be just one single thing. This is just a case of, I do think it was the marketing. I really think they could have marketed and sold this picture better. Grande, look at Blade Runner, for example, that later grew a cult following. Sure, plenty of films do. I'm way more of an Emilio fan. I guess Emilio might have been a little too old for that at this point. Like this was 1988, so he still probably could have pulled it off. But like, I don't know. I might have gone Charlie here for some reason. I could picture it. Loaded Weapon 1 forever. Hell yeah. Grande or timing like films. Sure. Listen. There's always the whole, Hocus Pocus was a bomb. That's a big thing that people never realize. Hocus Pocus was a huge bomb. Came out the same day as Jurassic Park. Like, it's not really fair to say, like, anything could have opened up against Jurassic Park. It was going to fucking flop. Like, that's it. It's just kind of how it was, unfortunately. But yeah, The Blob was, unfortunately, a movie that did bomb, as we're down to 6. Let's do it. Spin it up. The Wheel of Torture will select. Oh, shit. Ooh, oh, no. Oh, shit. Oh, we avoided Pluto Nash, but at what cost? Oh, Jesus. Do we have to fucking talk about this movie? From 1987, this is Ishtar. Ishtar from 1987. Holy shit, this movie fucking sucks. On a budget of $51 million. $51 million? Who you think you got kidnapped, Chelsea Clinton? $51 million. This thing grossed just over $14 million. A monumental bomb, a movie that was shat on from the day it came out by everybody, people, including the cast and crew and film reviewers and all of these things. This was a notorious box office bomb for quite a long time. And Ishtar is a prime example of a terrible box office bomb from top to bottom. A movie that went through tremendous production issues and stories and problems and egos and the whole 9 yards. Ishtar was a fucking disgrace of a cinematic movie, in my opinion. And where do you start? I mean, you start, I guess, with the elephant in the room, which would have been the director, Elaine May. Elaine May had worked with both of these actors, Warren Beatty, who's one of the two leads, and Dustin Hoffman. She'd helped them in their careers with uncredited rewrites. She did a great uncredited rewrite for Tootsie, and Dustin Hoffman for years sung her praises and said, listen, Tootsie wouldn't be the movie that it is without Elaine May, and I want to help her in any way I can down the road. Same thing with Warren Beatty. She'd helped him with certain projects. She apparently had a great mind for writing her way out of a corner. She was a good writer, and she helped with a lot of movies that she wasn't even credited for, but I'm sure she got paid handsomely for. And the two of them came together and they said, listen, let's get Elaine her own movie. Let's pay back and let's help her do something because she helped us. And listen, on paper and morally, that's a beautiful thing to do. That's what you want to do. You want to help your friends. You want to give your friends opportunity when you're in the position of an A-list actor like a Dustin Hoffman at the time. And Beatty may not have been A-list at the time, but Warren Beatty's name still did carry weight. I mean, this is a Bonnie and Clyde guy. I mean, this is the guy that fucked up Best Picture at the Oscars all those years later. Pretty funny. But I really like Warren Beatty and I love Dustin Hoffman. I think they're both great actors. This is a fucking terrible comedy of the two of them. It's like a buddy road to film in a la vein of Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin of yesteryear, a la Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but if it fucking sucked, which I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles came out like the next year, which is pretty funny because that's a lot fucking, actually maybe it came out in 87. I think it might have came out the same year. That's a lot better fucking movie than this, unfortunately. But yeah, this is horrible. You have these two guys trying to be funny. They're not. They're bad lounge singers. And that's supposed to be funny, that they sing all these horrible songs together. And then they decide, listen, we fucking suck. Let's move to the Middle East and try to make it there. They go to the Middle East and they run into Isabella Johnny, who's pretending to be her brother. And there's a whole fucking scheme and there's a whole fucking thing. And nobody gives a fuck because I tried to watch this again this week and I turned it fucking off. This to me is a disgrace. Like, on every single level, it's a disgrace of cinema and filmmaking and buddy road 2 movies. Buddy road 2 movies are only as good as your two buddies and their fucking chemistry and how funny the movie is. That doesn't have any of that in this movie. They don't have chemistry, Hoffman and Beatty. Yeah, they might have been okay friends. They might have really wanted to help Elaine May. There's no chemistry there. There's no moment where you go, I'm with these guys. I really like these guys. They come off as the biggest bumbling fucking buffoons that nobody gives a shit about. Oh, there's one scene where Warren Beatty's going to jump and Dustin Hoffman has to talk him off the ledge. That's really fucking funny. No, it ain't. The scene, There's a scene where Warren Beatty's dying in the fucking nightclub trying to sing, and then Dustin Hoffman comes in like a big pizza pie that's amore, and he saves the day. But fucking bravo, horrible. I mean, for a comedy, it's not funny. It's painfully unfucking funny to the point where you just want to turn it off. It's just like, oh my God, like this is absolute torture. And to me, what's crazy about it is $51 million. Where did it go? Where did $51 million go? You got these two motherfuckers in the Middle East and fucking nothing really happens. It's just them walking in desert landscape. Yeah, you shot on location. Great. I know that costs a lot of money. But also is the numerous stories with this movie, the numerous issues with production. Perfect example. There's a great story where one of the crew members was asked to hire a blue-eyed camel. Apparently, this was a very rare animal to have blue eyes, and he found one. He found one with blue eyes. The guy offered him a price for it. He felt he was being scammed. He says, no. I'm going to take my blank check, and I'm going to get a better deal for it. So he goes away, can't find one for days. Goes back to the fucking guy who had the blue camel or the blue-eyed camel. He goes, hey, listen, I changed my mind. I'll give you the money that you wanted. Oh, sorry. We fucking cooked this camel and ate it last night. That's the type of movie. You're dealing with a cursed movie. The motherfucker came back with a blue-eyed camel. The blue-eyed camel been eaten. That's the type of movie we're talking about here. And everybody was fighting on this production. Warren Beatty was fighting with Elaine May over character. And Isabella Gianni, nobody liked her, and she wouldn't deal with the director. And so much so that when it came to be time to ADR their lines back, Isabella Gianni refused to come in the studio. She's like, I'm not being a part of this anymore. I got my money. I'm done. Like I recorded it on camera, sound on boom mic. And there are times where you can listen to Isabella Gianni's performance in this and it sounds low because they clearly didn't have the ADR to fix some of her dialogue. All of it sounds very low and unprofessional, despite being a $51 million production. I get the vibe. I get the homage and the tribute that you were trying to do to Road 2 movies, because I like Road 2 movies. Harold and Kumar is a great fucking movie. National Lampoon's Vacation is a great fucking movie. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a great fucking movie. You know what all those movies have that this one don't? Is A, chemistry between its characters, and B, it's fucking funny. Whereas this is absolutely anything but. There's not one laugh to be had in this entire picture, and it's 2 hours long of wasted money, wasted time, and bad jokes. I despise Ishtar. It was so bad I turned it to fuck off. And like, this is notorious for being a hated movie too. Like, everybody shit on this when it came out. The most famous was Mike Nichols, director Mike Nichols, who made so many fucking great movies over his career. May he rest in peace. Mike Nichols said this is the prime example of why Hollywood sucks. That was the big quote he said after this. And he said, this is a prime example of wasting money. And that's what they did. $51 million and went down the drain. Did you really need $51 million? Was your great idea to a Road 2 film, let's put him in the Middle East on camels? Was that really the best idea you could have done? Like, I don't know, venturing to a theme park or venturing to White Castle sounds like a much more smart idea than, okay, we'll put these two fucking failed lounge singers in the middle of the desert on a camel. No wonder your movie fucking bombed. Horrible movie. I hate Ishtar with a passion. Let's see what you guys have to say about this one, though, because it is truly an absolute mess. Let's see. I think Fight Club failed at the box office. Charlie was more of the rebel character that fit in the film, so I could see that. Okay, cool. Yeah. My top 5 movie is The Frighteners. Of course, love Peter Jackson, love The Frighteners, love Michael J. Fox. Oh, damn, this was my first introduction to the term box office fun. This one, yeah, this is like, I don't feel like you could do this show without talking about Ishtar. And I was happy it came out, but also at the same time, I was like, Ishtar came out. Like, fuck. My friend says Ishtar wasn't really that bad. I think the publicity might have made it look bad. But to be fair, I haven't seen it, and I won't judge him. Like, I think that's a good point of, if you're asking the question, why? I do think bad word of mouth killed this movie, too. Like, I think everybody was, like, pretty much in the know that it was bad. And like, that's never good. Bad. So they say, oh, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Horse shit. Look at this movie. This movie got shat on from the day it came out, and it never recouped, never recovered. Directed by Elaine May. She directed a film called Mikey and Nikki with John Cassavetes and Peter Falk. That's absolutely right. Trailer doesn't make it look quite bad. Okay, well, listen, I don't know. If you want to be so daring to watch this, be my guest. Well, on the plus side, it didn't randomize Xanadu. Xanadu is better than this. Howard the Duck is... Fuck. I actually would watch Howard the Duck over this. This is horrible. I actually would take both those fucking movies. Xanadu is fucking so weird that it's kind of funny. like Olivia Newton-John and fucking roller skates and the fucking clouds. Like, what the fuck, man? But Xanadu is, I truly believe that somebody was on drugs when they conceptualized that. They just said, fuck it, let's do it. Like, let's get the bitch from Greece. Let's fucking do this. Like, I feel like that was the discussion that happened. Xanadu, yeah, poor fucking Gene Kelly. Xanadu was so shitty it killed Gene Kelly. Singing in the rain. Miss C, some film people I participate on Facebook like Xanadu. Yeah, no, Xanadu is so bad it's kind of funny. Like I like Xanadu. Like I could see merit in that before I'd ever see merit in Ishtar. Can't judge. I have never seen it, but I've always heard it was a big bomb. Yeah, if that's your rep, odds are probably the case. There's Waterworld, which bombed, but some people liked. I'm one of them. I like Waterworld. I don't care what anybody says. I think Waterworld's fucking fun. I know I'm going to get shit on for that. I dodged this bullet. Dude, you did, because this movie stinks. Let's see. Michael Cinemo, after the box office success and multiple Oscars of The Deer Hunter, he absolutely sunk United Artists Studio, making Heaven's Gate, being given lots of money to make the movie. Sure, listen, that happened too. Heaven's Gate's another big one. And I think they cut it extremely. I have Heaven's Gate on Criterion, but I'm not sure what to think of it. Sorry, Grande. I was trying to say Ishtar does have a bad trailer. Oh, okay. That's okay. You ever done an episode about movies that are classic but the sequels are terrible, a la Sin City 2? I've never done an episode with that particular concept, but I mean, we could do the show to the end of time, so I'm sure we could do it someday. Hands off Howard the Duck. Oh boy, I'd like to see you do that if you haven't. Well, hey, I'll put it on the back burner, my friend. There's thankfully a whole year to go here, so a lot of fun doing Grande Scraver with y'all. And yeah, we're gonna move on from Ishtar because nothing good or positive can come more from Ishtar. So let's spin the wheel. Let's make the goddamn deal here tonight. Only on the Graveyard. Oh boy. Oh no. What are we gonna get? All right, we just got saved by a fucking pube hair. Cutthroat Island. Now, I'm sure probably people saying saved. Yeah, it's better than Pluto Nash, let's be honest. This, for the longest time, was the reigning, defending, undisputed biggest box office bomb in the history of a little thing we all know and love called cinema. I mean, huge bomb. A movie that, we'll get the numbers for you, was made for around an estimate of $100 to $115 million. Some people say it was even higher. Some people say it was less. There's a lot of arguments. About $100 million. And this movie made worldwide $16 million. It was a movie that opened number 13 at the weekend box office in the year 1995. Opened day, number 13. That's as unlucky as it gets, my friends. And listen, we're going to get into the backstory of Cutthroat Island. We're going to get into how it killed the company, how it, changed the careers and lives of a lot of the people involved, if you really think about it. With all that being said, I rewatched it this week, and I really don't think it's that bad of a movie. Does it deserve to be the biggest bomb ever? No. Like, no fucking way. Now, when you hear the backstory of some of this, you could see why. But as far as the quality of film is, do I think this is one of the worst movies ever? No. Like, I'll put it over the fucking movie I just talked about. I put it over quite a few of these movies we're talking about tonight. It's not the worst thing ever. It's no fucking masterpiece, but glass half full movie for me. I don't hate Cutthroat Island by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's fun for what it is. Not saying it's a perfect movie, though. The backstory, though, is truly some of the craziest shit that you will ever hear. Now, the backstory goes, there was a little company called Carol Co. that wanted to be the main financer and distributor of this movie. Now, Carol Co. was on the ropes for years. Carol Co. had made a hit in Cliffhanger, but then 94 comes and they have Stargate. Okay, then you have Showgirls in 95, and ultimately this movie that was the last movie they ever produced because the company went under and was bought out by Studio Canal after this movie bombed. This movie killed the company. Not single-handedly, but this was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back and ended Carol Co. forever as we knew it then. In stepped director Rennie Harlan. They wanted to get Rennie Harlan because they already had all of these foreign investors that had already placed their money in bids on the film and wanted to be a part of some of the gross. And they came in and they put their fingers in the jar and they said, holy shit, we've got to make this movie. We have too much foreign investment. Let's scrap what we're doing. And the movie they were going to do was a little movie called Crusade that was going to star Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a $13 million project. Arnold was going to be the lead, and Arnold at this time was money. You're coming off Judgment Day. You're coming off, By this time, Kindergarten Cop, I think, came out the same year, 95. I want to say it was Kindergarten Cop. No, 1990 was Kindergarten Cop. So Kindergarten Cop had come out. Schwarzenegger was on fire. Everything he was doing and touching was turning to fucking gold, was turning to green, right? It was making money. They scrapped that idea, pushed Schwarzenegger aside, and they said, no, 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 our money is in this big pirate movie. We're going to do Cutthroat Island. And they got Rennie Harlan, who insisted on his wife being the lead. They didn't want any part of that. They wanted Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas was working a really crazy, extensive schedule. He said, listen, I'll do it, but we have to shoot around my schedule, and we have to do it soon. And they were going to rush into production. They did apparently shoot some of this movie with Michael Douglas, only for him to quit because A, they didn't have enough time, and B, he felt the director was giving his wife too much of the screen time. And therein lies the problem with this movie, the first problem of many. Rennie Harlan, of course, had married Gina Davis, and I love Rennie Harlan. I love Die Hard 2. I love Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Cliffhanger. Like, he made some good movies. I know people shit on Rennie, especially now. I get it. Rennie's fallen off. But the young Rennie, the up-and-coming Rennie Harlan, I like a lot of those movies. I really do. Like, I think he was a really hungry guy that at this point found success. He found the fucking keys to the kingdom. He was directing a movie that was, made for $100 million. You've made it, kid. He went from a homeless guy, sleeping in his car to directing $100 million movie that was supposed to gross all the money in the world. And he's married to Gina Davis, who was beautiful, coming off movies like a League of Their Own and so many really good little performances. I really like Gina Davis. The two of them apparently were a nightmare to work with on this movie. Some of the production crew said that they were basically on their honeymoon, that they didn't talk to some people some days, that they required a absurd amount of the drink V8 be on the set of this movie. All times, that was what was on set, like literal industrial sized packages of V8, because that's the only thing the two of them would drink. Matthew Modine, who becomes the male lead, was one of their last choices. They had all these different guys. Keanu Reeves was considered. They had tons of people in mind for the male role. Ends up going to Matthew Modine. Modine says Rennie Harlan didn't even direct him on the picture because he was so infatuated with his wife that he never even directed or gave Matthew Modine any sort of direction. He just ignored him throughout the entire movie. That's horrible. Like Rennie Harlan, like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's your male lead. Like, listen, could you have gotten a better actor? Yeah, I think Matthew Modine is serviceable, but he's not a great actor. You can't ignore the fucking guy throughout the whole thing. Just really weird. The whole thing was odd how that goes. And to say that it was cursed would be an understatement of the year. The cinematographer of this movie, right? The original cinematographer broke his leg on set. So I want to get his name here, right? Because Oliver Wood was his name. Oliver Wood was the cinematographer. He had worked a lot with Rennie Harlan before. First week of production, falls off his fucking camera crane and snaps his leg in half. So they had to hire another cinematographer. You know the term break a leg? This motherfucker did it. And then they, of course, had to hire Peter Levy to do the cinematography for the rest of this movie. I will say this. The money's on the screen. There's a lot of great practical effects. There's a lot of explosions. There's a lot of beautiful landscapes. There's a lot of ships and battles and cannonballs. And, it does look good. It does look like $100 million movie. So I could say that. As far as Ishtar, it doesn't look like it was made $50 million. And we'll get on to some movies that they do look like they were made for $5, not $100 million. This is one, though, that truly seemed cursed. Everybody involved seemed like they had the wrong attitude. Your cinematographer's breaking his fucking leg. The story of the production was Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed, one of my all-time favorites. I know he was a notorious drunk. I know a lot of people fucking hated him, but I love Oliver Reed. Like Oliver Reed in Burnt Offerings, Oliver Reed in The Brood, Oliver Reed in anything. I am a big Oliver Reed mark. He was a notorious drunk, and the story goes that he was hammered on set, was supposed to play a very small cameo role, and somehow got into a conversation with Gina Davis, and he decided to show her his pee-pee. Yeah, Oliver Reed, hammered drunk, said, take a look, and took his fucking pants off right in front of Gina Davis. Now, I shouldn't laugh because it's fucking crazy. But holy shit, that's what he did, and that's what happened, and they had to fire Oliver Reed from the set, and Oliver Reed, of course, would go on to be in Gladiator and die in a drinking contest during the, making it crazy. Oliver Reed was a fucking crazy motherfucker, but yeah, that's the infamous story, is that he exposed himself to Gina Davis, and yeah, that was not a good thing. He ended up getting fucking fired. So yeah, crazy story there. And to me, it's like, okay, It does have some positives to it. Like, I don't mind the story. I don't mind the cute romance angle. I like the adventure aspect. The score is really good. I really like the score of this movie. It feels epic. It feels very pirate-esque. Like, it definitely has some positives to it. Is it a little overlong? Yeah. Does it need to be 2 hours? I don't think so. But again, it's 2 hours, a $100 million movie. It is what it is. Why did it fail? Why did it bomb? Why did it literally kill that company? There's a lot of whys to be asked. I wonder why. I really do. Because listen, it's not like this is the all-time greatest movie or anything. And listen, it's not to say that there's not money in the pirate theme and the pirate concept. Pirates of the Caribbean comes out in 2003. The Curse of the Black Pearl makes all the money in the world, becomes a multi-million/billion-dollar franchise. So there was money in the pirate idea. You had even pirate movies that come out in the 1990s. You have Muppets Treasure Island that probably made more money than this. Granted, I didn't check, but I'd be shocked to think that lost money. Anything with the Muppets going to make money. At least you'd think so. I mean, I don't know. This whole thing is just kind of crazy to me when you look at it. When you look at it up and down. Listen, Gina Davis could have been better in the movie. I think this movie ended her fucking career. She does The Long Kiss Goodnight the following year with Rennie, and that's a good movie. But after that, she's delegated to nothing. She's Stuart Little's mom until she called it a fucking career, right? I know she did a couple of movies after that, but I mean, it seemed like her on-film career really died here. Like, she did a couple of movies here, a couple of movies there, but like, it was never the same. It never felt like Gina Davis ever was at that same level as she was a couple of years prior in A League of Their Own. That was like her peak, and then this was the beginning of getting to rock bottom to me for her. And same with Rennie. I mean, Rennie, after A Long Kiss Goodnight, yeah, I like Long Kiss Goodnight. Then there's Driven with Stallone. Then there's fucking, the Exorcist prequel that he did, and movies like that. And movies that he eventually it seemed like his career plummeted over time. And it's really kind of sad. Like, I truly think Cutthroat Island not only killed the company, I think it killed several careers. I do think this movie killed Gina Davis's career. And I do think in time it killed Rennie Harlin's career, killed a lot of things. And it's not the worst movie in the world, but it's an age-old example of they put money into a literal sinking pirate ship, and it shows. It truly shows that these people probably should have played it safe with the Arnold movie, $13 million Arnold movie. You're going to make some money. You probably should have went there, but because of the foreign investors and because they had all of these things tied in, they tried to save it and tried to throw a Hail Mary pass, if you will, and yeah, unfortunately, it crashed and it burned and it sank to the bottom of the ocean, probably deeper than the Titanic by now. Cutthroat Island, not the worst movie on this list, but man, as far as losing money, it's up there with it was for a very long time the most, highest losing movie of all time. I do believe it was eventually surpassed by movies like John Carter and The Lone Ranger. None of those came out of the randomizer. I think John Carter is the number one. It's either John Carter or the Marvels movie with Brie Larson that just came out. That's like the current, as a recording of this, most losing, money movies of all time. But yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. Let's see the comments though. Where are we? The fuck were we here? I was never a big Gina Davis fan. I don't know why, and she's from my neck of the woods too, so I feel bad. Yeah, I've been there before too. Like the hometown person that you don't like you're supposed to, but you don't. I think Canon, which Golan and Globus produced films with, made a shitload of films, but I guess they risked so much. Listen, another one, Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. That was a Canon movie. That they thought, okay, we have Superman, we got Christopher Reeve, we don't need anything else, and you do. You need to actually deliver a fucking quality film, and they just didn't do it. But I like some Cannon movies. Like, Cannon's not I always feel it's funny, that documentary on Cannon really made it out to be like, this company made terrible movies. I don't think so at all. I think they made some movies that weren't the greatest in the world, some movies that were tongue-in-cheek and silly, but like to me, to make the whole studio look like it was a joke, I don't know. And I wasn't a big fan of that documentary. It just seemed like they shit on it more than they embraced any single aspect of it. For me, this movie is a guilty pleasure so bad that it's good. This movie puts Tombstone on Gina Davis's career. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm totally with that. I think this killed her career too. My friend said that the movie business, most movies fail like a ration of 9 out of 10, sort of like the restaurant business, which usually has a 50% chance to survive. Restaurant business is tough too, man. Grande, I met Matthew Modine at CT Film Fest, but I don't really think much of him. I don't think much of him as an actor either. To be honest, I feel like Rennie Harlin is kind of a hack. I feel like for every good movie, he's made 2 or 3 bad ones. That's Yeah, that's not too far off. I don't think you're wrong there at all. Cliffhanger is a good one. Grande, One Man's Junk is another movie's treasure. Sure, listen, hey, I don't even think this movie's not bad, but it there's no denying how bad it flopped. I love Oliver Reed. I think Curse of the Werewolf features the best looking werewolf on film history, still holds up to this day. Okay, yeah, no, I'm a big Oliver Reed fan as well. Cliffhanger is really about overcoming your own guilt. Yeah, Stallone's very good in that movie. Grande, you got to see The Devils. Oh, I've seen I love, trust me, I love that movie. And Oliver Reed is tremendous. I agree. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. That's right. Yep. I've heard Gina Davis has gone to the behind the camera work now. I honestly haven't heard much from Gina Davis in a really long time. I mean, I know she does conventions now, and there was the whole controversy of she did a convention where she didn't take pictures like next to like arm around people. She was like in between a divider. And there was a lot of controversy, but apparently that was a one-time thing. That after that, everything went back to normal. Yes, he was in Tommy. That's right. Exorcist prequel was a disaster. Yes, it was. Exorcist prequel was bad. Michelle Parsons is in the house. Michelle, welcome, my friend. Go Steelers. We'll be watching on Monday night. Michelle, all the way from the Great White North. Reed and Harlan sank the ship. The studio. Oh no, the rants are back. The raps are back. Grande Cannon, I think, made some good films. They did. They totally did, man. Like 52 Pickup, yeah, Delta Force. I don't know. I don't think Cannon always deserved the shit they got, especially from that documentary. I'm not a big fan. But Cutthroat Island, not as bad as people make it out to be. I don't know. But granted, it was a big a flop as people made it out to me. Go Steelers. Absolutely, go Steelers. As we get to our next movie, which, yeah, this is an example of a very good flop. Idle Hands from 1999. I've got the cool little VHS here of Idle Hands. I love this movie, but you got to get into the numbers. I mean, you got to get into the numbers because this is absolutely wild how much money this movie lost. On a budget of $25 million, this movie grossed $4.2 million, was a literal dead on arrival movie. Its opening day didn't gross any fucking money, was out of the theater within 2 weeks, and bombed so hard that it was hard to fathom. The movie became a big cult hit years and years later. Of course, 25 plus years later, there's a lot of people I know that love Idle Hands. And I think the beauty of Idle Hands is that it seemed like everybody was trying to make a different movie. The director was very much influenced by Dario Argento, so you have a lot of that great neon lighting and usage of color in the film. You have a great sense of humor, which I think the writers brought. You had a lot of young and up-and-coming faces, right? You had Devon Sawa, who his physical performance in this and wrestling with the hat is great. Seth Green is so fun. I'm Leatherface. And the Elton, oh God, I can't think of his fucking name. Elton something is the other friend. He's great in this movie too. Elton Henson, I think is his name. Really great as the other friend in it. And Jessica Alba, young, beautiful Jessica Alba's in this movie as the love interest. I mean, he had a great young and up-and-coming cast. The movie was shot in Pasadena, Florida. Pasadena, California, same neighborhood where Halloween was shot. Halloween was shot in the same. So if you watch this movie and look closely, you could see it's almost the same exact look of the original Halloween because it kind of looks like the same neighborhood, even though 20 plus years had passed. It looks exactly like the same neighborhood. Kind of cool. It's a little bit of everything. It has great humor, it has great horror, it has great, up and coming teen kind of humor. It has that kind of neo feel to it in a lot of ways. And to me, it just is a really fun mess, if you will. It's a mess, but it has so many great things to like about it. I love Idle Hands. I think Idle Hands is a tremendous movie. But it leads to the question, why did it bomb? Why did, on a budget of $25 million, this make 4.2 and be dead on arrival, be out of the theater within 2 weeks? And this is where you look to real life. This is where you look to reality. This is where you look to what was happening at that time, that particular month. This is April of 1999, right? This is the same month, just weeks after Columbine had happened. The horrible Columbine shootings and tragedy, the innocent people that lost their lives. And the studio did consider holding this movie back, but it would be very costly if they did. And they ultimately kept and stuck with their guns, and the movie got released. And people felt at the time that it was in poor taste to release a teen movie where there were teenagers getting killed off by a possessed hand, whether it be something silly like that or whether it be by somebody in a hockey mask. They felt that it was in poor taste. And there were certain states, including the state where Columbine resided, that didn't screen this movie. They didn't show this movie. They didn't want any publicity like that because at that time, time, that really was one of the biggest stories and tragedies that there had ever been. I mean, Kent State was one thing. This was something completely different. And I truly think that this movie bombed because of that tragedy. I don't think the world was ready at that time to see something like this when a tragedy had just befell the nation at this time. It's unfortunate because it's all timing. Now, at the same time, you could argue the movie's a mess. How do you sell this movie? How do you market this movie? It's so much of all these different things. It's funny, it's physical, it's weird, it's a love story, it's teen drama. It has all these different things going to it. Is it a situation where there was no way to sell this movie because it was so grand and what it was offering? There's a lot of, I don't know. That's a big part of it too. Maybe that was why. Maybe it was just too well-rounded for its own fucking good, hence why nobody went to go bother with it. That's a very big possibility too. However, what I do know, and the beauty of eyesight being 2020, as they say, is that this movie over the years has gotten a lot of love, and a lot of people love Idle Hands. A lot of people have grown very fond of the movie and find it to be a classic Halloween time movie. I watch this every October. It's perfect for Halloween. The big Halloween party and the cover of the I Wanna Be Sedated. Hurry, 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 before I go insane. Oh, 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 oh. So fun, man. I think Idle Hands is great. So many great people in it. And it's just a shame to me that on a budget of 25, I mean, it didn't even make 5. Like, it's just crazy. I mean, did you need $25 million to make this movie? Probably not, but it does come out very quality. I mean, I'd be remiss to say that money was not poorly used in any way, shape, or form. Everything looks good. The effects still look good. The acting is fucking fantastic, and the writing is really good, as is the direction. I don't know. I really don't know, why, other than the reasons I think and speculate. But again, it's just speculation. I can't prove any of that. That's just kind of what I think about it and why Idle Hands, in my opinion, did flop. And we can get to your comments, though, now. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see. My number 3 is Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker is a fun movie. I don't mind Jawbreaker. I didn't realize Jawbreaker was a bomb, to be perfectly honest with you. That's surprising. Superman 4, Quest for Peace was kind of enjoyable. Bad for Cannon. Oh, man. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace stinks. Superman 2 is the best. Pasadena is also where Van Halen's from. I know that's music, not movies. No worries. Grande, that might be the good thing with Blu-ray and 4K boutique labels, resurrecting box office bombs and making money. Dude, for sure. Listen. Look at Vinegar Syndrome and what they do. You released Mac and Me on 4K and sold it for $50 fucking dollars, and people could not stop buying it. You re-released Congo on 4K and sold it for $50, and people could not stop buying it. The Garbage Pail Kids movie, you re-released it in 4K. I saw Michelle fucking bought it on fucking 4K. Like, they know their game. They know how to play the game better than anyone else. It's a fact of life. Vinegar Syndrome knows how to do it. Take a $5 movie, make it look nice, shine that son of a bitch up, turn that son of a bitch sideways, and sell it for $50 online. And you're going to get some bites, because for every 2 you sell, you make $100 fucking dollars. And it's absolutely absurd. But they know where their money is, and they know their demographic, and they know that people feast on nostalgia. Movies that weren't popular then because over time they watched as a kid sell now. And it's a really interesting thing. But yeah, no, that's a fact of life, man. It's a crazy one. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Arrow, Criterion has helped these movies. Dude, they totally have. They really, really have. That's a great point. I love Idle Hands. It sucks it didn't do well. One of my favorites from that period. I agree. Like, to me, Scream is amazing. Then I love The Faculty, and then Idle Hands. Like, to me, those are like the top 3 of that last half of the night, like that Neo era, that prime Neo era. I would say those 3 are the 3 I point to. And it's crazy that 2 of the 3 of them didn't do the money they wanted. Faculty wasn't a bomb, but The Faculty wasn't a hit. Like, they thought they were going to make Scream money, and it didn't even make half of Scream money. Idle Hands, I don't know what the expectations were, but I would assume we're a $25 million fucking dollar movie. They expected something back, and unfortunately, what they got back was fucking peanuts. I loved the Garbage Pail Kids back when I was 10. It didn't hold up quite as well when I'm almost 46. Shut up, happens sometimes, Michelle. Sometimes 36 years later, things change. Your tastes change. You grow up, you mature a little bit. But also, you had the nostalgia factor of trying to relive the one viewing when you were 10. And they got it. They got your money for that. So, and that's like why they're smart. Like I nod my head to them. Like they are a smart company. Whether or not the movies they re-release are good or bad or ugly or terrible, they know how to make their money. And yeah, I think it's nice. Actually, to go back to her comment, I think it's nice to let people relive it because, like, I've been there too. I bought some movies that are fucking. People look at me like, "You bought that? Yeah, I love that movie since I'm a kid." And they look at you like you're fucking crazy. Like Jumanji's one for me. Everybody, Jumanji's horrible. CGI monkeys. I'm like, I love fucking Jumanji. I don't know. I'm gassed about VS releasing Warner Brother made for TV movies on 4K. I've been watching to see Don't Go to Sleep for years now, but it's never streaming and it's not on DVD and Blu-ray. Listen, that's what's going to happen. You said it. I mean, listen, you'll get your Texas Chainsaw 3 4K. That'll happen. That's going to be a big deal when it does happen because that movie's never really gotten a proper release. Let's be honest. But you're right. Bad Ronald will 100% be one of the fucking movies. Really, like any of the Warner Brother archive movies, those are all about to get them. If you have the Warner Brothers shitty archive movies, like you are about to be in heaven when Vinegar Syndrome starts re-releasing those. You just know it. You just absolutely know it. Like I cannot even tell you how much I'm positive about that. But Idle Hands, I love Idle Hands. Long live Idle Hands. And of these last three, holy shit, these are all bad. Let's spin the wheel. All three of these are bad. This is torture no matter what we get. Oh no. The one I was dreading all night. The worst of these 11. The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Yes, The Adventures of Pluto Nash. This is the worst movie I watched this week. Without a doubt, the worst movie of these 11 to me. On a budget of $100 million. Dr. Evil. $100 million. The Adventures of Pluto Nash grossed $7.2 million worldwide. It grossed about $4 million in the US, about $3 million overseas, was an all-time monumental box office bomb, and it deserved it. It is an absolutely atrocious movie. Now, we have to talk backstory. We talk numbers, we'll talk backstory, we'll talk about the talent involved and the guy that normally you would think was going to be the one to sell tickets. And the lead star, Eddie Murphy. I love Eddie Murphy. I've not talked enough about Eddie Murphy on this channel, so please allow me the opportunity to do so now. I love Eddie Murphy. I think he's a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent. Really, honestly, a one and only, a one-of-one talent. Loved him all the way back to the 48-Hour days, right? Trading Places, The Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop. So many awesome movies from Eddie Murphy that I've loved to love over the years. And I think that a lot of ways, you look at New York City, you look at Saturday Night Live. I always said this. I don't think Saturday Night Live ever would have stayed on and stayed on the air if it wasn't for a guy like Eddie Murphy in the early 1980s, who I really believe was the cast member that saved it. You had that great initial run with Murray and Chevy and John Belushi, and Belushi dies, and then it seemed like, oh no, Saturday Night Live's in trouble, and 1980 rolls around, and the show was doing terrible and not drawing. It was Eddie Murphy and all of his comedic genius that saved that show. The Mr. Rogers Neighborhood, right? Hi, I'm Mr. Rogers. You hear people getting shot, and you hear people, my neighbor's up top. Shut the fuck up. He would yell at people, and it was such a funny gimmick. There was the James Brown thing where he would dance and go to the hot tub, and Eddie Murphy's comedic timing and his delivery and his energy was unmatched. I mean, he really, really was unmatched. The stand-up Delirious and Eddie Murphy Raw, Eddie Murphy in anything was just money. You knew Eddie Murphy's got this, man. He became box office smash. He became the biggest comedic star of the 1980s, in my opinion, and there was no denying that. Now, for everyone's peak, for everyone's top of the mountaintop, you hit a bottom eventually. It happens to all of us, right? Whether you're good, whether you're bad, whether you're goddamn ugly, it happens to all of us. We're only human at the end of the day. And listen, as the 90s went on, he made some good movies. He made some bad movies. Nutty Professor was a big hit. Not one of my favorite movies in the world, but it was a big hit. It made a lot of money. They offered Eddie Murphy $20 million to play a man who owned a casino in the fucking outer space called Pluto Nash, The Adventures of Pluto Nash. That's what this movie was called. And basically takes place in space and has he and Rosario Dawson and fucking, oh my God, Randy Quaid playing an android running throughout this movie from bad guys, played by fucking, of all people, Joe Pantoliano, Ralphie from The Sopranos. You have a few Sopranos actors in there, which I thought was kind of funny. All these people that are in this movie. Pam Grier shows up in the film. Jay Moore. You have a lot of people. Miguel Nunez in the movie. This is an awful film, like awful. Like to me, and the biggest gripe that I have with it is the look. You had $100 million. Now I get it. A fifth of that went to Eddie, and Eddie's on the poster, and Eddie's name was supposed to sell it and get people into the cinemas. I understand that part of it. You had $80 million to make the rest of your movie. Your story sucks. The biggest problem with this movie is the look. The look of this movie looks like a direct to Sci-Fi Channel original movie. And that may even be being too nice for this. It looks cheap. It looks terrible from the computer generated image standpoint. And listen, I mean, there's no denying that the technology wasn't there 26 years ago the way it is now. But even with that being said, I look at movies around this time with similar vibes, right? The space themes. The Fifth Element was made for a substantial amount of money less than this. Looked way better. The costumes, the designs, the creatures, the effects, all of that stuff. It ages way better, and it's a way fucking better movie. You look at a movie like Galaxy Quest. Yeah, some of the effects are bad on purpose. Some of the cheese, some of the, it's a movie that it's not taking itself seriously whatsoever. Galaxy Quest is a far better looking movie than this, despite being sort of a parody. When you look at this movie, when you look at this, it really looks like there was no heart, dedication, or effort put into any of the look scope-wise of this movie. It looks like pure dog shit that you put together in 5 minutes on your computer. And the sickening thing is you had the money to make this thing look good, to make this thing special, and they didn't do that. It's really a shame to me when you look at the effort. That's the thing with this movie. It doesn't seem like anybody was trying. I love Eddie Murphy. And for a $20 million payday, it doesn't look like he cares. And he said in interviews, I didn't care. I took the money. I was there. I was standing there. I did what I had to do and I went home. This was a getting it done payday for Eddie Murphy. I get it. A lot of us work jobs solely for money. We may be miserable. We may not want to do it. But man, if you're getting a $20 million paycheck, you got to put in a little bit more fucking effort than he does in this movie. He really does look like he's uninterested and sleepwalking throughout this movie. Rosario Dawson, I like the actress a lot. Boring, terrible, dull in this movie. Randy Quaid just bumbling around literally like an idiot. The story is uninteresting. I tried to watch this week. I turned it off. It is absolutely not worth your time. It's not worth the hour and a half that you need to sit through it to watch. Horrible movie. And yeah, $100 million, $20 million to market, $20 million to Eddie, and it grows only 7.2. This was one of the all-time biggest box office bombs, and I do really believe that it deserved it. Now, Eddie would bounce back slightly. Daddy Daycare was a lot better than this. Haunted Mansion, I know people hate, and that's a movie that broke even but didn't bomb necessarily. I know he's denounced the movie. I always liked Eddie Murphy, Haunted Mansion, but I saw it as a kid, right? That's a movie I saw in the theater as a kid, so I never minded that. I never minded Haunted Mansion. Eddie would rebound, but then Eddie would bomb again, right? I mean, Norbit was terrible. He made some pretty terrible movies after that, and this was a movie that I think started the downfall, if it hadn't started already, of Eddie Murphy's career. So I don't know. Pluto Nash is the worst movie that we're talking about tonight. It is horrible. I don't recommend it to my worst enemy. It is absolutely an all-timer piece of shit movie. But let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. It really was the nostalgia factor and a gorgeous packing of the book of essays. I'm still reading the Reanimator booklet from Second Sight, so I haven't. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, yeah, no, that's an awesome release. And I love Reanimator. Reanimator is awesome. Bad Ronald. Oh, I love Bad Ronald too. Bad Ronald is great. My top 2 box office bomb is Biodome, of course. Biodome, another infamous box office bomb. I bought the Bad Ronald Blu-ray a while back. Very dark movie and very sad. Yep, and I guarantee you it's coming for 4K. Grande, funny you mentioned Joe Pantoliano. I met him at the CT Film Fest, and he signed my Matrix box set. Oh, dude, yeah, I'm a huge fan. I would love to meet Joe Pantoliano. Like, I'm a big fan of Ralph Cifaretto. I think he's one of the best characters on The Sopranos. The smell of burning garbage crossed the border. I could smell it. Smell it wafted, Mateo. It's horrible. Fifth Element, kind of meh parts of it look good. Other parts look awful. Compared to this, though, I think the whole thing just as a scope looks great. Like, and this was a director, Ron Underwood, was a talented guy. Ron Underwood made Tremors. I love Tremors. I think Tremors is a great movie. I think it looks good. Like, and everybody involved in this seemed to know it was going to be bad. Like Joe Paliano infamously said, there are movies where you do and you don't know whether they're great or whether they're going to be horrible until you see them. He said on this movie, he knew from the moment he walked in, this was going to be a fucking terrible movie. And yeah, you know, it shows. It really does. It just doesn't look like effort was put in here despite the big, big financial backing and them thinking they were going to have this big box office success where it really, the movie crashed and burned all the way from space. The horror, the horror, the horror. Maybe Eddie needed the money. Maybe, listen, $20 million. Yeah, hell yeah. Good for him. I just think, holy shit, man, it didn't look like he tried. Like I know a lot of people shit on Jim Carrey because of the cable guy, right? He got the $20 million payday to play a fucking cable guy with a lisp. And a lot of people, it's a disgrace, you know, who's he to get that kind of money? Listen, Jim Carrey put every ounce of energy he had into that. And whether you like Cable Guy or not, I think Cable Guy is great. He made that character somehow feel dark, but at the same time sympathetic and at the same time crazy and funny all at once. He was able to hit every emotion. That's why I think Jim Carrey's a great actor. And I know people could bash him for the money and the type of movie that it was, but there was effort there. I truly feel, and Eddie even admitted this, that the effort wasn't there. He didn't give a fuck. And it shows. And to me, you make it $20 million, I would act my ass off just so people that did see it said, that was horrible. Eddie was trying. Like, just to at least get that element out of it. But instead, I guess he just took the payday and said, yeah, let's wrap this up. So that happens. Quoting Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now, Stella! Hey, Stella! That's why Marlon Brando asked for so much money for Superman and Apocalypse Now. I'm sure he did because he could hold them over for it. He could get money. Listen, Eddie was a guy, man, if you look at Eddie's salaries, that motherfucker got $1 million for his first movie. No, that doesn't happen. That does not happen. I don't know if any other actor, well, I guess adjusted to inflation, modern day now, maybe. But Eddie Murphy was paid $1 million for 48 hours. That doesn't happen for an actor in their first movie. Eddie Murphy was that type of talent. And I love him. Man, as far as box office bombs and as far as movies in his career, I don't know if it gets worse than The Adventures of Pluto and Ash. Maybe some people will say it does, but for me, that might be the worst Eddie Murphy movie for me. All right, last two. Let's spin the wheel. Let's make a deal here. What is it going to be? Oh, man. It is from 2019. It is from the Broadway play. It is Cats. Yes, it is Cats. The worst thing to happen to cats since dogs. It's Cats from 2019. Of course, based on the legendary play by Andrew Lloyd Webber and all these great talented people. It was a big, big stage play in New York City. I remember as a kid walking in the city, and I remember seeing the ads for Cats, the musical, and Cats this and Cats that. It was a big, big time stage play and is still infamous to this day. And for some reason, in 2019, they decided, hey, let's bring this to life in the big screen. Let's make Cats the musical a theatrical experience. Let's make a cinematic masterpiece with this. And let's spend no less than this money of $100 million. Now, $100 million budget, it grossed $75 million. It was an ultimate bomb. Everybody hated it. Even before it came out, this is one that there was no saving this. Like, before this came out, everybody was shitting on it. Like, that's how bad this movie's rep was. And you look no further than the visual effects. That's the problem here. That is absolutely the problem here. Now, there were issues behind the scenes with deadlines, right? This is a movie that was pushed for its trailer. And then once its trailer came out, they said, you have 6 months to complete the movie. So it was a very rushed job. And it doesn't feel finished. And so much so that after the movie was released in the theaters, they went back in post-production again after the movie had its theatrical run and tried to fix some of the errors that were in the movie when it played theatrically. That can't happen. When there's $100 million, when there's 9 figures at stake, that can't happen. It just can't. I understand they were trying to meet their deadline. And what's so funny about their fucking deadline, we've got to have it out by Christmas of 2019. You open the same fucking week as Star Wars 9. And granted, I've not seen Star Wars 9. I stopped with The Last Jedi. That was the day Star Wars died for me. But to rush your film out when it's not done, when it looks as ugly as it does, when it is based off a beloved musical that people loved and cherished, to rush it out only to get fucking curb stomped by Star Wars when you should have known better than anything going up against Star Wars. Anything. You could be the next Citizen Kane. If it went up against Star Wars, you're not outgrossing Star Wars. You don't have a chance. It's like Jaws. It's like Jurassic Park. It's like the big blockbuster that you know that you don't have a chance to compete with, no matter what you are. And they're big. It'll appeal to the female demographic that's not interested in Star Wars. Buddy, there are plenty of fucking females that like Star Wars. And yeah, I bet you they skipped your fucking shitty movie to go see that shitty Star Wars movie. And I guarantee you that's what happened. Now, all that beside, the visual effects are actually the culprit here. I mean, it is such an ugly, atrocious film. There are so many mistakes. And to me, this could have been really, really good. And you had the money. Why not do this at least partially practically? The whole joy of the play was people dressed up as cats, practically making them up, making them perform and sing and dance. And that was the whole point of Cats, right? The aspect of the Broadway element of it, to show it could all be done on the stage. Once you took it cinematically and you slapped CGI on all these fucking people, we'll make fucking Judi Dench a CGI cat. We'll make fucking Jennifer Hudson a CGI cat. We'll make fucking James Corbin, who's already a fat pussy. Let's make him a fucking fat CGI pussy because art was fucking funny. That's what you did with $100 million in a beloved Broadway entity that you could have fucking put the time and the care and the desire into if you just took the time to make these people up practically to look like cats. Or even partially practically. I understand that we live in an era now where everything has to be CGI because it's easier, because it's more fucking cost effective. And I understand that. But what are you trying to save with fucking nine-figure profit, $100 million, and a beloved fucking entity, and you're rushing the thing out so it can go and get itself curb stomped by a Star Wars film? You goddamn idiots. Absolute idiots. You deserve to bomb. This movie stinks. Nobody likes it. You absolutely dismantled and defecated all over the people that probably were excited and did love the play and were so excited to say, hey, listen, Cats, it's finally coming to the big screen. And to all those people, you let them down. Like, that sucks. I've never seen Cats the play on Broadway. I never have. But my fucking God, this is horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. From start to finish, it is unfocused. It is mess. There's no story to it. It's just a bunch of musical numbers by a bunch of horribly CGI'd people that are supposed to be fucking cats, but instead they're a bunch of pussies. Cats fucking sucks. I hate Cats. Let's go to comments. Where were we? Grande, I'm not a Broadway guy, but Cats is way better than the terrible Andrew Lloyd Webber Phantom of the Opera. I hate the music to that film. Well, I will say this. Most of the Phantom of the Opera adaptations are better than this movie for film standpoint. Now, there is Dario Argento's Phantom of the Opera that's bad, and even that's better than this. I would watch Dario Argento's Phantom of the Opera before I'd watch Cats again. I'm not fucking kidding you. At least I can see Asia Argento being hot. That's literally and Julian Sands is a better actor than anybody in this fucking movie. My brother bought tickets for Cats for me and my parents on Broadway when we were kids. Oh, that's cool. Les Mis was a way better musical. I've never seen Les Mis on the stage, and I've never seen Cats on the stage. I've seen both movies, and spoiler alert, Les Mis is a lot fucking better. Cats sucks a steaming pile of, it's Hello Kitty shit. Marnes is in the house. Hey, what's up, Graveyard fam? Hope your year is off to a great start. Dude, man, I hope yours is off to a great start, too. The music I'm referring to is Weber's Phantom that I hate. Well, listen, you could be referring to fucking Andrew Lloyd Webber's fucking asshole, and you would be probably in a better state of positivity than Cats. Sup, Kubrick, Grande, did you sit down and watch the movie Cats? I tried. I got through a half hour of this week. And then I said, you know what? Like, I don't have time for this. Like, I have better things to do. Like, stick pins in my fucking body. I would rather get acupuncture than watch Cats. It's just fucking horrible. Don't sugarcoat. I try not to. It keeps burning. Cats, one of the top 10 worst ever made. Wow. I didn't get through it, so I don't know if I can crown it. But I'm telling you, if I turn a movie off, it's rare. I'm telling you, it's rare. But I learned this about myself. If it's a non-genre film, it's not a horror film, I can pull the trigger to turn it off a lot easier for some reason. I don't know why. Your enthusiasm for Cats is the equivalent of someone we know having his Starbucks order wrong. Oh my God. It's funniest story. So I can tell the story before we get to the last movie. This crazy trip. So we went to Pittsburgh for Living Dead weekend. I had a great time. Met Michelle. Michelle's great, great people. We had so much fun, so many laughs, so many stories, just good people. And like the thing with Alfa Romero, aka Michael, like Michael is the man to meet people through. Like so many nice, kind people have come my way through knowing Michael. Matt Landrums of the world, your Will Phelps of the world, your Andys of the world, so many nice, good people. And don't think if I didn't mention everybody that I disinclude you. There's literally too many to mention, and I mean that as a positive. We're sitting in a fucking van about to drive to the Tales from the Dark Side Bridge. And Alfa Romero's driving, Andy's in the passenger seat, and it's me, it's Will Phelps in the middle, and a Steelers Super Bowl sweater that they lost, and Michelle in the backseat of his fucking car. We drive to the Starbucks, and Will Phelps is, I guess, very particular about how he likes his coffee. I've never drank coffee in my life. I don't like coffee. But Will is a big coffee guy. Alpha got some coffee. Michelle got a free coffee because of the story. Will leans over to offer his super fucking weird coffee. He was like, "Hey, hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Yes, I would like a grande." Oh no, he said, "I would like a grande with 4 cups of sugar and milk." And all this is his entire order. I'm sitting there like, "What the fuck is this guy ordering, man? This sounds pretty weird." Gets to the window. Of course, they fucked this drink up, and I don't blame them. It was honestly so obscure. I was like, honestly, I would have fucked this up too. So the woman kind of goes, "Okay, here's your drink." She gives him the drink, and it wasn't a grande. I guess it was something else. It was a small or whatever. And so Will leans over me in the car, in the fucking back seat, and he leans over and goes, "Excuse me, ma'am, is this a grande? I believe I asked for a grande. This is this is all wrong." And I'm literally like, this motherfucker's on top of me. Michelle is crying, laughing, taking pictures of me and my reaction. It was so fucking funny. And then they ended up giving him the drink back. And I teased Will this day about that. Like, we're just cracking up laughing at it. Now, I'm leaning over a grande, but this ain't a grande, ma'am. It was, oh, man, it was really funny. And then we had a great rest of the day. But that story was so fucking funny, man. I truly, we laughed a lot on that trip, but that might have been the hardest we all laughed. Like, that was really funny. I will give you acupuncture grande. Yeah, really, honestly, I would rather go through acupuncture than watch Cats again. You don't like coffee? No, I don't. I'm not a coffee guy at all. It's funny. Like, people get shocked when they hear that I don't drink really other than soda. That I'm not a big caffeine. Like, I drink soda. Trust me, I love soda, but that's really it. Like, I don't. Other than that, I don't really drink anything too crazy. It was a John Grande. Is this a John Grande? I'm leaning over. I'm ordering Vente, miss. Like, he was so fucking pissed. It was funny. Leans more, like, launches him. Yeah, he did like a suicide dive through the fucking window at this fucking lady, and she was like, "Excuse me, sir, you need to sit down." I don't know. Everybody had a southern accent. We were in the middle of fucking Monroeville. It was kind of funny. But Cats is the opposite of that story. Cats is torture. Which we do a victory lap for the last movie on the list, a movie that, again, this was the one that accidentally made it on the list. It wasn't initially here, but I accidentally pulled out 11. And this one I can actually say I was there for. From the year 2000, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Now, when I say I was there for it, I was the rightful age of 3 years old, and I did go to see this in the movie theater. I'll never forget it. It was one of the first movies I ever saw. I believe Pokemon the movie was the first movie I ever saw in the cinema. It's either that or Elmo and Grouchland. Granted, it could have been this. This was definitely one of the first ones too. But anyway, no matter what the first movie I ever saw in the theater was, I'm thankful. I don't believe it was this. Thomas the Magic Railroad. Now, Thomas the Tank Engine is a huge character in the history of, like, children entertainment. The classic theme song and all of the tank engines and trains and cranes and things with the faces, and they go on these little missions. And of course, it was all the brainchild of this woman named Britt Allcroft. She was like the Walt Disney of, Thomas the Tank Engine. She was the creative. She was the lead. She was the producer. She was everything. Like, she was El Capitano, if you will, was Britt Allcroft. And Britt wanted to take the success of Thomas the Tank Engine and make a fucking movie. It made a lot of sense, right? Everything else at that time was coming around the pike that was popular in culture, like Thomas was. Pokemon was in the movie theater I just mentioned. We had Elmo and Grouchland. We had all these movies that were coming around the pike. And she said, "Hey, the show is red hot. The show is on fire. Let's make a Thomas the Tank Engine film." and we're going to make a ton of money. Like, the show is on fire. So on a budget of $19 million, this movie grossed back $19.7 million. And I know some people go, oh, wait a minute, isn't that a profit? They made $700,000 more than their working budget. That's not to factor in what the theater took, and that's not to factor in what they cost to market it, because they cost even more to market the film than they did to make this particular film. So this was a monumental bomb, considering it only really made back $700,000 of its working budget. It lost everything else, including the crazy behind the scenes. Now, Alec Baldwin's in this movie as a conductor. That's never on the show. You have fucking none other than Peter Fonda in this movie as a depressed old man. You have Matilda, the actress that played Matilda and was in Mrs. Doubtfire. Her name, I forget her fucking name, honestly, to be honest. Rachel something. Rachel Wilson, I want to say her name is. I have to double check. Mara Wilson. I was close. Rachel Wilson, somebody else. Mara Wilson from Matilda fame. She's the lead child in this. And the whole idea was they were going to have this big villain named P.T. Boomer, and he was going to be the villain of the movie. They screen tested this for kids, and apparently the kids freaked out that P.T. Boomer was too scary, and the film had already been done. So the rest of this movie, they have to try to edit out the actor playing P.T. Boomer. And he's all but edited out but one scene. There's one scene where you can see P.T. Boomer, sort of. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But it's crazy because you look at this movie that Britt Allcroft was calling the shots, $19 million. And Thomas the Tank Engine is coming into the box office in July of 2000. This is going to be the big payday and the big moment in the sun for our tank engine. And, man, the motherfucker broke down. Like, I mean, it didn't make any fucking money. And the movie was terrible, and nobody gave a shit. And Peter Fonda looks like he's acting in fucking the serious drama movie, where the rest of it's supposed to be Thomas the fucking Tank Engine and be for kids and be lighthearted. And they removed the heel of the movie because it barely scared children. And they have this big crane guy. He's the villain of the movie. It is a mess. It is an absolute mess from top to bottom. And it's proof that sometimes, no matter how much love, heart, and care and admiration you have for what's yours, right? And this one, don't get me wrong, but may Britt Allcroft rest in peace. Thomas was hers. This was her fucking thing. And the fact that it bombed so badly, they never did Thomas the Tank Engine in the movie theater again. They never tried it again. Like, this was the one, and this was done. They just stuck to TV. To this day, 26 years later, they have never even dared to put Thomas the Tank Engine back in the movie theater. And I don't know why that is. I mean, listen, there's no doubt that name sold tickets, and that's why they probably made back at least their production budget. But, man, like, the movie itself sucks, and it's not good for kids, not good for adults, not good for anybody. There is a work print version, infamous work print version, where it was the original movie, but you watch it in low quality. That was the movie they intended. Even that's fucking horrible. I've actually seen that too. And it's unfortunate because over the years, this could have been maybe a starter of a big franchise. There were so many big franchises coming around the pike at that time, right? Star Wars was back in 99. Harry Potter was coming around the pike in the early 2000s. Pokemon, all these things. And this was attempts that just absolutely crashed, broke down, and burned on the train tracks and ultimately off them as Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas and the Magical Railroad was anything but magical, was nothing but a big box office bomb. So, yeah, crazy one, really weird. But, yeah, that's one that I know I was in the cinema for. So, yeah, Mama Grande's money went towards this. So with the $19.7 million, Mama Grande brought 2 tickets for that. So thank you, Mama Grande. Let's get back to the comments, and then we will wrap it up here. Maybe it was a Grande Americano. Maybe. Count me out. I remember watching the series The Shining Time Station on PBS. It was a great series. Star Wars and New Hope was the first film I remember seeing in the theater. I guess that shows you how old I am. Well, yeah. First, I'm pretty sure mine was either Pokemon the movie or Elmo and Grouchland in 1999. I would have been like 2 or 3. Like late 2 probably. First movie I saw in the theater was Masters of the Universe, really. And that's coming out June is Masters of the Universe, a new movie with the love of my life, Camila Mendes. Camila Mendes is in it, so I'll be seeing that. I've never watched anything Masters of the Universe ever, but I will be there for Camila Mendes in tight white pants. I mean, come on. What kind of a Camila Mendes fan would I be? My extra box office bomb is The Shadow. It feels like you are watching an old film noir. It takes all the stuff that was used in the 1930s radio drama. Mara Wilson, that's right. It finally dawned on me. On the series Shining Time Station, there was an antagonist character called Schemer. Okay. Harry Potter, meh. I think if I was younger, I'd like it. I love the Harry Potter movies, at least the first four. But yeah, they're a lot better than Thomas the Magic fucking Railroad, which was anything but magic. But yes, that's the last one on the Wheel of Torture. We've been tortured enough, guys. Over 2 hours show. This was a lot of fun, though. I love doing Grande's Graveyard, spin the wheels, making deals. Always a really good time, shooting the breeze with you guys. And I do appreciate your patience and cooperation and fun in the chat. Always fun to communicate and talk with you guys. Next week on Grande's Graveyard is Black Mirror Season 4. Yes, we're back onto the Black Mirror fun, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, it's Jalos in January, the following week. And to round out January, it is J-Horror Special, and it's the Tomie movies. 9 Tomie movies. I'm very excited for that. Always fun to talk about some foreign cinema, so we'll get there in a couple weeks. But next week, it's Black Mirror Season 4, so I'm very excited. People say it only on the Graveyard. Later, dude. Stuckus, thank you so much for stopping by. 2 sweet peas. Mateo, give me one of these. Mateo and I have a fun show planned, as do I and Haddonfield Mascot, who just comments now. You will be seeing Haddonfield Mascot and Mateo in February, but I won't divulge yet. I'll let that happen when the schedule's released. Great show. Excited for next week. Have a great night, everyone. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you're catching the replay, comment down below. Let me know what box office bombs you love, you hate, or you think are goddamn ugly. Or if you want to comment on the ones I discussed, all 11, feel free to share your thoughts because I'm always stoked to hear them. So everybody have a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and we will catch you next time only on the Graveyard. 2 sweet peas. And good night, everybody. Stay away from the bombs or else. Night, everybody.